what we do. Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Southwest Florida Tech Net for Friday, the 6th of August. And I got to tell you, it's been a hectic week. I've been doing all kinds of work, side work that's kept me very busy. But Joseph and I still, and he's been busy too, would put more hours in at work. And so between the two of us, we still managed this weekend to put together an amazing net tonight. We're going to talk about the extremes of ham radio. And we also have an extended news segment towards the end. There's a lot of different things going on. We're going to talk about in depth tonight. So we're going to get to that towards the end. But first, we're going to talk about some ham radio extremes. And then we're going to give you guys a chance to tell us about the extremes you've seen. What antenna systems or what shacks or different things that you've seen that you feel is the extreme of ham radio, and we're gonna go through all that. And then after that, like I said, we're gonna have an extended news segment. But let me get this going here before we do get started. Does anybody have any announcements or anything they would like to say before we get started? Okay, there we go. I'd like to welcome my co-host tonight, which is Joseph, Cam4OVZ, and thank you for helping me get this together tonight. It's been quite a daunting task. I'm looking for you here so I can make you a co-host. There we go. All right, and all right. So tonight we're going to talk about extreme ham radio, and we're basically just going to use this as kind of a fun opportunity to go through and look at some of the people that are even crazier than me. And there is people out there that are more absolutely insane than I am. And I am insane. They are more insane. And we're going to take a ride into the depths of that insanity tonight. So I'm glad you're here for the ride. And well, let's just move right along. We're going to start with, let's see here. We're going to talk about some of the most extreme ham shacks and antennas that we've seen. We're going to talk about some extreme repeaters tonight. We're going to talk about pushing the range of your UHF and your VHF signals beyond the horizon, because, of course, you know, that's where the fun is, just beyond the horizon. And stories of extreme setups and different things that for everything from antennas to setups to arrays. We're going to talk about all of that tonight. First thing I want to talk about is the brand new thing that just came out. Joseph, you want to take this?
Yes, there's been a advancement in Chinese nuclear fission technology, which has allowed for the 900 watt Baofeng UV10R. This thing is amazing. It has 500 kilometer range just with this stock rubber duck. And the best thing about it is that it gives you cancer the first time you key up, but the next time you key up, it kills the cancer.
But can you cook hot dogs with it?
Yes, you can cook hot dogs with it.
In 12 seconds.
Yeah. Like, it's amazing. You just stick the hot dog right on the antenna and key up, and then you pull it off, and it's like done.
It'll cook a whole case of hot dogs at one time. You just shove the antenna in the box.
Yeah.
5 seconds.
It does have a bit of a problem, though. It being Chinese, obviously, it interferes with aliens in the adjacent galaxies around us. So when you
spurious transmissions or something.
Yeah, the spurious emissions make it over to them aliens, and they might get angry. So we better be careful with this one.
Have you ever guys seen what a 900 watt spurious transmission looks like? Oh God. It also, like he says here, and this is important, you hold this about 4 feet out in front of you, which is hard with arms as long as yours, but still. You would hold this out in front of you and transmit for about 1 minute, and it will kill the COVID virus if it's in you as well. So that's a good thing. And of course, with that much wattage, there's going to be some visual effect when you're transmitting. You will see a weird glow, and then you'll see RF burns on your skin. Yeah, I got to tell you guys, the reason we bring this up first tonight is twofold. One, it's an extreme, isn't it? Yeah, it's the biggest lie in ham radio.
I was gonna go look at the calendar and see if it was April 1st. But it's too hot.
I can't believe they can get an unlicensed nuclear accelerator inside this radio, but they do. Anyway, now you would think this is pretty rare, right? People like advertising radios for like way more than there actually are. No, not so much. It happens a lot. Look at all these radios. I want one of each. There's an 80-watt one there. It's got a 30,000 milliamp battery. Some of these batteries have more milliamps than the one in my car.
It's got to be some kind of nuclear reactor.
It's an unlicensed nuclear accelerator pack, just like in Ghostbusters. But yeah, look at some of these. This one in the lower right, 180 kilometers. That's like 130 miles, dude.
Whoa.
You could literally like talk to your mother in Tampa if she's got a ham license, or just use it on FRS, right?
Yeah.
No.
I want a 50,000 watt FRS rig. Now they need to get.
Yeah, I mean, what I really want is a 10,000 watt HF rig, but they haven't. Bofang hasn't come out with that one yet.
Oh man, this one has a 900,000 milliamp hour battery.
I know. It'll last till the next time Jesus walks to Earth. And you only have to charge it once when you get it.
Now it does take like 20 years to charge, using that little USB charger it comes with.
Yeah, it takes 1 millennia to charge.
You put it in the charger and the lights flicker.
There you go.
Joseph, I can see you've got a really lot of work in on this, and I'm sure you've had a great time doing it.
Has been shown to cause power brownouts in California.
The hardest part, the worst part is that you have to charge it in the laundry room because that's the only place you have a 220 plug for the charger.
On a much less extreme, you just need to go to the Walmart and look at the FRS radios and look at the range on those.
I know. When you're selling me a 500 milliwatt radio that's operating on UHF with a stock antenna that's this long, and you're telling me 12 to 20 miles?
Yeah.
Are those statute miles or Disney miles?
With this one here at the bottom, the orange one, when it says hot in the corner, they mean it too.
That is hot. Yeah, it's
It
hot in your
radiates
hand.
in the thermal band.
This is your radio on crack. Any questions?
I thought we'd have fun with this. It was Joseph's idea, but I thought this would be great. Yeah, and I want one last thing. You guys understand the conversion chart, right?
Oh yeah.
When you're really talking the real radios, you still have to use the English-Chinese conversion chart. And so I want you guys to understand that because it's very, very important. If you don't use the chart right, what'll end up happening is you'll buy a radio and you'll think that it's a lot better radio than you're actually getting. If you're buying a 10-watt Baofeng or a 10-watt TYT or something like that, it's about 7.5 watts on the current currency. You just have to check it. Yeah. It depends. My 8-watt Baofeng's good for about 5.5 watts on 2 meters.
The exchange rate does vary, however.
It does. Yeah, the exchange rate goes up and down depending on the monetary value of wattage or something. But I do have one. I got my Baofeng, this one here, the waterproof one that I bought. This one's an 8-watt radio that puts out just shy of 6. And this TYT right here, my favorite radio in the whole world. This one right here. This one is a 10-watt radio, and it puts out about 7.5, but its performance is really good compared to all the other Chinese radios. So, but then, of course, your regular Baofengs, if they're 5 watts, are going to come in somewhere between 3.5 and 4 watts on 2 meters. So just remember that when you buy a Yazoo or something, you're going to get that wattage. You know, my Yazoo puts out exactly what it says it puts out, and the thing's like 10 years old and it's been used to heck and back, and it still puts out exactly what it says. So there's something to be said for buying good radios. At least that's what my buddy John says. And and my ICOM, I tested it not long ago with a buddy's equipment, and man, it's putting out exactly like 103 watts. It's perfect. So you know, there's something to be said for buying that. But we just wanted to bring this to you guys' attention.
Boy, I'm going to mark that on my calendar again.
Yeah. Well, hey, you guys got to understand where I'm at on all this, okay? I want you guys to be clear on where I'm at on all this. I believe that the Chinese radios are wonderful, 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 playing their part. But then we all grow up and we start getting our big boy radios. I don't have a lot of money, so so a lot of my radios are still the kiddie radios. But I will tell you something. I've talked many, many miles on my Baofengs, and they are good radios. Right now, to this day, I have my UV9R that I bought that has the 220 on one side and the 775 on the other. I hooked it up to a good $20 mic. Do not buy one of those Baofeng $8 mics. They're garbage. Buy a real mic. And this is my base radio. I put a rubber band around it to keep it in the charger. I Velcro the charger down to the desk. And that is now my base radio. I leave it on the 775. If I hear you guys on the 220, I just hit the blue button one time and I'm talking on the 220. I got it hooked up to a big Motorola speaker up here, so I got beautiful sound coming out of it. And I call it the world's cheapest base radio. All right. Let's get back to the slides here and see where we're at. All right. Joseph, take it away.
All right, so this repeater is one that I like this repeater. It's in Miami, and a lot of y'all probably already know about that beam I built. Well, the beam was mostly so I could get into far away repeaters, and this one certainly was worth my time because John knows a little bit about this one already. This repeater is on the tallest building in Miami. It is on the Panorama Tower. So if you look on the map, you can see where that is, and it has a humongous footprint, like the biggest I've ever seen from a repeater. There might be another one on a mountain somewhere, but for not being on a mountain, this one is huge. So, yes. So, the view from the antenna is actually pretty crazy. This is looking back towards Fort Myers from where it is. And man, look how high up that is above the city. Like, that's above a bunch of skyscrapers. And it's tall.
I think I can see my house.
Yeah. You can see my house from here.
That's about like the view from the Atlanta Radio Club repeater.
Where are they on? Are they on a mountain?
They're on the what used to be called the Bank of America building in downtown Atlanta. So that thing that used to be the 9th tallest building in the world, but it covers some real estate. So
wow.
It's up there.
I've probably seen that building at some point.
Yeah. At night, it looks like it's lit up, kind of like the Eiffel Tower is. It's humongous.
Wow. That's a good spot for an antenna, yeah.
Yeah, that's what that reminds me of.
Yeah.
This is a great one, guys, because if you're looking for a way to test a new antenna, like I'm working on a 10-element Yagi right now, and I'm trying to get into this antenna. That's kind of my goal, so.
That's 2-meter duplexers.
Yeah. That's the repeater hardware right there. You can see the duplexers and everything. It's a Hytera repeater. The guy who set this up is like a Hytera dealer, I think. So he was able to get like a brand new controller and everything, which is pretty cool. If you look at the bottom, you can see what they calculated to be their footprint, and that's mostly accurate for just mobile or handheld or whatever. But the signal does reach into Fort Myers if you put up a directional antenna. Every night or so, if we can go to what do I say? The next slide, I have some more pictures here of it.
What's their reaction when you talk to them from Fort Myers?
They're like, "Oh man, you coming all the way from Fort Myers?" And I'm like, "Yep." That's the antenna right there. It's a Commscope Db420. This thing is huge. It costs like $5,000 or something on the Commscope website. It is giant. You can see it's got all those little folded dipoles on there. That thing is huge, and it's already up on this.
Probably.
Yeah, it's up on this building already. It's super high up, so that's a really good antenna. And so yeah, they do most of the heavy lifting, but with a little bit of effort on our end here in Fort Myers, we can get in. Normally your signal will be about half. If you have a beam like mine pointed at them, it'll be about S5. But at night, it can come in super strong because there is like, I don't know what it is, ducting, sporadic E, propagation, but every night it routinely gets brought over here. The signal just gets so good here. And I don't know what it is exactly, but man, at night sometimes it'll come in super strong.
I wonder what they do for lightning protection.
I don't know.
I'd be curious next time you go over there and look.
I need to ask them what they do about that.
Yeah.
I wonder if they use the duck and pray method that I use.
Dodge the lightning.
Yeah. It's probably more
about
similar to the TV stations and their lightning protection.
Probably, I would think so. Was that it? Okay, yeah. So if you're interested in talking into this repeater, there's a few things you need. Number one is a directional antenna. Very rarely the ducting or whatever will be good enough that you can actually pick it up on a handheld. I have talked into this repeater on a handheld before. In fact, it was pretty recently. And you can hear it in your mobile as well. So if you're bored with your radio in your car, just turn it over to 444-325. And if you hear something come through, that means we got really good conditions, because every now and then it'll really get good.
And I'll tell you guys why. I think one of the reasons why we're doing so well with this repeater is because if you got something up 30 or 40 feet like he does out in Buckingham area, his antenna is high enough that it's getting him out of Lehigh. It's getting him over Lehigh. The antenna on the other end is on the top of a building, and it's high enough that it's getting you out of Miami. When we draw a line on the map, which we did between his house and my house and that antenna, once you get through Lehigh, there's nothing until you get to like Miami. I mean, it's just grass. There's nothing but
plains,
Everglades, and it's the flattest land, and there's water right at the surface. And I really believe that because your towers get you out of the cities on both sides, and then all that's right where the earth comes up between your two signals is all, let me turn that off. Right where the earth comes up between your beam is the best conditions ever. And I think that's a lot of the reason why you're able to get that at 135 miles or something, 130 miles. Isn't that what we said?
Yeah, it's about 130 to you and about 114 to me, I think.
Yeah.
It's probably ground wave
between your
propagation.
antenna and Miami, but pythons.
Yeah.
And alligators.
Yeah. And alligators and all that kind of stuff.
It's probably ground wave propagation. I wonder if it's that, because that does really well over wet ground and flat areas.
Yeah, but ground wave is generally a lower band thing, but it does, as you know, everything can affect any band when the conditions are just right. But who knows? I think it's a really interesting phenomenon that's happening, that we're able to talk on this UHF antenna that's so far away. So anyway, we wanted you guys to try that out.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's UHF, and UHF generally has, the higher the frequency you go, the more limited you are to line of sight. But this thing just kind of breaks that rule because it goes crazy. I mean, I was transmitting into that repeater and it was coming back, and Ian could hear me on his area. Like, we were the most inefficient way of talking to each other ever, but it was going to Miami and coming all the way back. And it's pretty amazing that it works so well. So yeah, that's my entry for this. An amplifier. Oh, that's one I think I was going to mention. I got this 100-watt amplifier. The signal does fade in and out. I guess the conditions just kind of move around or something, but it'll fade out to like an S1 and then come back, and then S1 and come back, relatively quickly. So having a little bit more power to push because most radios put out less power on UHF than they do on 2-meter. So if your radio is listed as a 50-watt, it's probably only putting out 25 or 35 on UHF, which I don't know why that is. I guess it's less efficient or something. So I don't know why that is, but I found
every
a lot of
radio
radios.
I have puts out less on UHF than VHF, whether it says it does or not. So if you guys have a 5-watt radio, that's 3.5 watts UHF normally. So I'm just telling you that you're not getting the same horsepower. So
I really would like an answer if anybody knows why that is. Why is UHF lower power than lower frequency? I don't know. Maybe the finals aren't as
higher you go in frequency, the less efficient the transmitters are. In other words, it takes more amperage to run a 440 transmitter than it does a 2-meter transmitter. So they build some limitations, and most of the major manufacturers do this. A mobile that's 50 watts on 2 meter generally will be 35, and that's because of the power demands. Uh, if you buy a strictly 440 radio that's 50 watts or 65 watts or whatever, it's probably going to have 10 or 12 gauge wire for the power leads on it because they just draw so much more power.
It's
Okay,
kind
I
of like
see.
the electric bill for a UHF TV station.
All right, well,
Oh,
that explains
folks
it.
have no idea what electric bills run for TV and radio stations.
Immense.
Yeah, because when you get done paying for your $100,000 FCC license, then you can pay your $90,000 electric bill. Then you wonder why you listen to so many commercials on that radio when you listen to
Yeah,
it.
really.
I could do the math for you. You won't like it anyway. Let's move on.
Meanwhile, Florida Power and Light is very happy.
Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, electricity is something you don't think about with broadcasting, and it is a huge factor when you have to figure in, just like your licenses. Those are two of the bigger things you'll spend money on. Radio and TV are one of the few businesses where you actually don't spend more money on manpower.
Yeah.
All right, this is what I inspire to be. I would have painted it black. That's the only difference. But yeah, I like that. This is really cool. This is more of a museum type thing. But what a great ham shack. I mean, this is a W9 EVT. And
He's gonna need to grow a few more mouths to use all these radios.
Well, what I want to see is what the outside of that wall looks like.
If you keyed them all down, the lights would flicker.
I know. And there's some really cool stuff up there. I'd really like to for him to explain to me how it works. But I don't know. I love this one. Every time I see this, I'm like, oh God, look at that. It's so cool. All right.
Like a museum. I think it's officially known as like or he calls it a museum. Just because of, I mean, look at it. It's got, and then the one thing you don't see, I don't know if I put a picture in here of it or not, but there's on the other wall, it's more of the same shelves with radios on them. So that's, yeah, he's got quite the collection.
That'd be a hell of a contest station.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what knob to turn.
Just pick one and start tuning. That's was that, hold on, is that the same call sign as the other one? W90?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, that's his 80. Yeah, it is. Okay, yeah. That, so he has an antenna farm, but this is the one of the biggest ones. He's got, it says 80-meter antenna. And it's up on that huge tower. I mean, that's what we all want, right? We want that. But man, he's got like an elevator in there to go up and down because of how big this thing is.
TV stations.
But yeah, he's got quite
that's something else. That's like a half-wave dipole.
For 80 meters.
For 80 meters. It's like 40 meters wide.
I wonder if he had to use one of those big helicopters to install that, kind of like the TV stations did when they just did the channel repacking.
Probably.
Yeah, that video NBC2 put out was something else. Did you see that?
Isn't that something?
Yeah, if you guys Google that on YouTube, NBC2 took some high-def footage of them putting their new tower, the new stick on their tower, and really cool video.
Yeah, there were a bunch of those around the country. I watched, I think, all of them. Oh man!
This was one I found that this is a DX station, and it's in Finland near the Arctic Circle. And yeah, those are Yankees up there.
Wow.
I love this stuff, dude. Oh God,
It's not really amateur anymore at this point. I mean,
oh well.
At what point does it become
broadcasting station?
Yeah, the term amateur, in my opinion, just means we're not being paid a salary. Yeah, that, because this is definitely professional stuff right here. But yeah, this one here is really cool. This one I don't know if that rotates, but it probably does. Who knows? Could you imagine? My Lord. But they're
using
using
an engine out of a race car to turn it.
I know. Well, we're going to see some big rotors. I got a few more really big rotors in here. But yeah, something like that you could pretty much talk around the world on. This is what it looks like from up top. And that's the rotor for it
You
down
can
on the
walk
lower
in
right.
it.
Yeah, you can actually walk in it. And that is the rotor we were just talking about in the lower right corner.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah. I could put my house on that rotor.
So that sucker is obviously sitting on the ground, so the whole tower apparently turns.
I know, that's what yeah, unless there's something that goes, but I didn't see anything going all the way up through the middle, so I don't know. I guess, yeah.
I wonder if they have like a ring for the guy wires that can like rotate.
I
This
don't
Wow,
guy
know.
it's a
must have
7
160
kilowatt.
meter beam.
Yeah.
Wow. You got 15.7 dBi and 12.9 dBi. That's insane.
Send one little dit on 5 watts. It sounds like a cannon blast.
Yeah. They can hear a mosquito fart in Guam. How about this one? Talk
Man.
about your VHF, UHF.
See, this is what I like. See, I'm like a VHF, UHF. I like it a little bit better than HF. And this is what I need right here. If I do
This
this,
guy
I'll
could run an
overload the repeater,
intergalactic
man.
woodpecker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pointing at
want
the
you
sky
guys-
right now.
I want you to see how this works. The rotator is located in the middle,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the outsides are on a round track that goes
Yeah, look
all
at
the
those
way
wheels.
around,
So,
and there's
like
wheels.
an irrigation system.
Exactly, like
Yeah,
the big
center pivot.
sprinklers you see off 75 there in the tobacco and the cotton farms.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the technology they're using there to be able to rotate this thing around.
ET phone home.
Yeah, yeah, ET could have done it with this, no problem.
Oh my
Here's a-
gosh, what is this?
How about this one?
He's
I want
got it.
this one. Yeah, how about some I don't know what that is. It looks like it, I don't know. What
It's
could
an
that be?
elevator.
To 10, 10 No, I mean the Yagi. That's a Yagi he's bringing down.
Whoa.
Look at it. It's a
On an
Yagi. The
elevator,
driven
yeah.
element's on the right.
What? Bang.
I want that Yagi. Of course, it would be hanging in 2 of my neighbors' yards.
Wow.
Yeah, I like
That
this.
is crazy. Yeah, that looks like, well, it looks like something a little bit lower than like 10 meter.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
almost
care.
it looks like it could be long enough, almost long enough to be. I don't know. It's not long enough to be 20 meters, so I don't know what it is. I kept
20
thinking it was
meters.
10 meters
Or 6.
because it's
I-
definitely
I-
it's
I bet
definitely
it-
longer than 6.
Yeah, it could be 20 meters.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
that be
Look at the length compared to that crane or the truck sitting there. Look at the length of those radial or the directors and reflectors.
Yeah.
And that could well be 20 meters.
That's even bigger than that monster we put up at Keesler Air Force Base that time.
Wow.
I'm forced to wonder what's on the other end of what's it pointing at? Because I realize
no.
we
You
are
gotta get
looking
out of
at
the way.
some. Well, we're looking at some very. That's a proper phrasing for this one. Very rural antennas,
Yes.
possibly far enough out that the only other link they think they can reach is possibly another one about the same size.
It's
This is
probably-
gonna be like, this is like worldwide kind of stuff though, don't you think? I mean,
Oh
this
my
is
God,
gonna
that
go
looks like-
around the earth like
That
3
looks like some
times.
kind of crazy
No,
alien
that's-
broadcast station.
You know, that's not necessarily the case. You know, it's the only way I work the good DX is because these guys have these big ass antenna systems.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
I don't have a big antenna system. So, you know, when I work a DX station, you know, if I work this guy in Finland, it'd be on account of his antenna, not on account of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is another big DXing station that they've got out here. This is Notice those white things down there? Those are all towers.
Yeah.
These are big arrays, basically groupings of towers. There's another
Man,
one
that's
there in the
bigger-
distance.
That's bigger than some of the AM broadcast arrays I've seen.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean that's there's an 80 meter array there.
Yeah, but if it's a DX, I guess yeah. Wow. You got to have a lot of land for this. I mean, this just takes up. Imagine the feed line too, because these are way out in the middle of a field, and even
Well, see, I would if I had this kind of money, I'd have an air conditioned box out there with my transmitter in it.
Yeah, and just operate remotely. Because I mean,
Yeah.
even on the lower band, that a mile's worth of feed line is still gonna.
Look at that, a 160 meter array.
I saw a picture
Yeah.
of someone's antenna farm, and they showed the feed line for one of the antennas, and it was like this big around. They had some kind of hard line. It was like 4-inch thick hard line or something.
This, some of the AM broadcast stations, that's what it reminds me of.
Or WWV, they have a pretty big antenna system.
Yeah.
The funny thing is WWV, like if you look at the aerial shots, there's like ranch farmhouses nearby. Can they even use any radio in their house with that thing right next to them?
Well, WWV's only running 10 kilowatts. You ought to
Still,
live in
they're-
Atlanta right next to the 50 kilowatt WSB transmitter. Now that's, I've got some friends that have had problems with that.
I
There's
would
4
think, yeah.
Yeagis.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh. Now, what band are those? Those look like a little bit higher.
It's hard to tell without perspective. I think,
Wow.
is that-
Those actually might be really big. Because look how the thickness of the tower. Look at the thickness of the tower itself. Those are huge. And they're
Ah,
four
this-
stacked.
This thing really just
Some wild stuff.
it's weird, wild stuff.
That's
You know-
crazy though.
You know,
That's my
Ed, that is weird, wild stuff, Ed. You are correct, sir. It sucks when I have to do both Johnny and Ed's part. What is this thing doing? You know, these slideshows do not like showing videos, just for the record. Look at this thing. I don't know what
Oh,
it's
no.
doing. Oh, you know what it is? I got a cat sleeping on the control button.
Probably doing Windows updates.
No, he got rid of the updates.
Oh,
I don't do
good.
updates. And you shouldn't either.
Keep up, Ian.
Unless you're on Linux, they have some good updates.
I don't do any updates. I'll be honest with you guys. I run a task that runs every 12 minutes or whatever, and that task actually cleans out my download file. And then on all of my ones that are professional models, I have it actually shut off. But I do not allow Bill Gates into my systems once I purchase them.
I think
You can
Joel
stay
Gates
out.
vanished anyway.
I want to go back to being on full Linux, but right now the multi-monitor support is not great for high refresh rate monitors.
Yeah.
So I gotta wait a few months, and then I'll probably make it my main thing. Because
Guys, this thing rotates.
does that really?
Unbelievable.
That rotates. That's pretty big for a backyard.
Yeah. Well, somebody has to challenge the Russian woodpecker.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, the 15 million per module. You guys, there's like
Hold on,
20
what is a-
modules up
What
there.
is a module? Is that
That's
just-
what I'm saying. There's a lot of modules up there.
Why does it cost 20 million though?
There is a special metallurgy that is necessary. Did I say that right? Necessary to build this particular kind of antenna. It's a specific kind of antenna. And because of the special metallurgy that is required, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, I hate to say.
Here's another one.
Oh gosh, 80 meter hot rotate.
Look at a rotator on this. So you know what? Oh my goodness. That's the rotator.
It's like a train. It's got a track.
It is. It's actually they used parts off a train rotator. That's actually where they got the parts
Wow.
for it. Look at that thing, dude. That's on a
Look at those
rotator.
elements.
I wonder what they had to do to get HOA approval for that.
I don't know. That's at least 3 children right there.
Oh my gosh. How is it guide? It must be guide somehow. It seems like the wind would just blow it over. I mean, how do you guide something like that? I don't think you
Yeah, because
can.
I mean, even though there's no sail, there's still a lot of wind loading up there.
Yeah, a lot.
I mean,
a lot more than
maybe
you'd think, actually.
It's probably an area without very strong storms.
Yeah.
Not
And
something you want to put up in Florida.
oh heck no.
no.
Plus the base is probably heavy enough to hold everything in place.
That's it. You can see its guide to that huge base.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean it would take a lot to make that giant metal frame thing to fall over. That is wow.
Give it long enough, Mother Nature will do it.
Guy wires on that thing.
I want to hook a RTL SDR up to that and see what I hear.
There you go.
Yeah, it all comes into one SMA connector.
Yeah.
I just want to put my meter. I want to put my meter on it and see if it'll tune up on.
Yeah.
Plug it directly into your Bofang.
Yeah,
That'll
that's what I was
overload
gonna try
the
to do.
Bofang for sure.
Of course, you've got to have the 900-watt Bofang to activate
Drive
the whole
that
thing.
thing.
Look, here's another guy crazier than me, with a wife that's more tolerant than mine.
Oh my
And
gosh, he's got 3.
Got antennas?
You think he's married?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm betting he's single.
Hey guys, welcome to Bob Yeagy's house.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at all that. Yeah.
Man. I was pointing. Wonder what that thing on the top of the center one is.
It's some kind of long ass dipole. There's one below it too.
Oh,
They
I
all
wonder
look
if it's
like
like 2
identical.
stacked.
I'm
Wow.
wondering what all the guy wires on the right hand of the screen go to.
Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna get to see that.
It's probably power lines.
Yeah, it's got power lines right next to it. See, he doesn't have your problem. I mean, he just shoots over the power line.
Yeah.
You know, if you could
Wow.
hook a radio up to power lines and not blow it up, that would be a really cool antenna because those things are very huge and you'd only have interference on 60 hertz or
Yeah. That would be crazy though, try to load up the neutral on the power line.
I know people use railroad tracks for VLF like lightning,
Yeah.
and they do some VLF stuff with railroad tracks, which is pretty cool. I wanted to get into
Oh, there's
VLF.
another one, guys.
Wire.
Oh my gosh, what is that?
Open wire feed too. That's
It looks
kind of
like-
unusual.
Wow.
Yep, that's open wire feed into the unbelievable.
It looks
Wow.
like my house. It looks like something I just put up out of nowhere, but it tunes. And this is a
Wow.
finger. And this is a finger. And this is a finger.
It's got verticals out there too.
I know. And in the distance there, I don't know what that is. It,
Is that
must be
his,
like a factory or something, but
So
I was
he's gonna put elements on. Ask him if they
This
can put
is
elements on
why I
his crane.
crazy.
That's his personal crane he keeps
Yeah.
to do antenna maintenance.
Unbelievable.
All right. Well, that's all that is. Did you guys have any other big gun stations or any other crazy rigs or anything out there you guys wanted to let us know about while we got the opportunity here before we go on to the ham radio news?
I never got to use it, but it actually went off the air before I ever got licensed. But I heard a lot of stories when I was a new ham about repeater, a 2-meter repeater in Indiana. It was on top of the Indiana National Bank building that was like 35 stories, and it put out a kilowatt.
Oh wow.
The guy that put it up was a broadcast engineer, a radio broadcast engineer. And he took an old broadcast transmitter, put it on top of that bank tower, and it would do a kilowatt out. And he had rigged something like 6 listening stations all over the
wow.
state. And also on high hills, like out in the country, get a tower at the crest of a big hill. And so they would receive on the input frequency and retransmit to the repeater. And you could work that thing from almost the entire state of Indiana.
Wow.
And it overheated and caught fire.
Yeah.
And I didn't at the time, but I have since gotten to know the guy that actually had it on the air. He's an engineer named Bob Hawkins, and he didn't have the money really to put it back on the air, and after it caught fire and actually did a little damage to the bank building.
Well, I wonder who paid the electric bill.
Probably the bank, and probably unknowingly.
Yeah.
Well,
That would have been a penny, depending on how much talking they do on it. Yeah, I know that
Probably a
when I'm up in North Georgia in the mountains, there's one up there. I think it's on Mount Mitchell or somewhere up there on one of the
That's
big
in North
mountains.
Carolina.
Yeah, and we can hit that. I can hit that one from South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I like to go to a mountain that's like 200 miles away, and as soon as I get to the highest point, I pull over, and with my car radio with a little quarter wave, stupid little $30 antenna on the roof, and I'm talking 5.9 in this thing, 200 miles away. I just love doing stuff like that.
You could go up on Brasstown Bald and talk to it with your biophone.
Yep. Yeah, I love Brasstown Bald. That's a great place.
Yeah.
And Buck Bald is a good one because I'm wanting to set up on Buck Bald at some point. It's literally a bald top mountain, and they've got a little park up there, but it's not marked well, and nobody really knows about it. And it's kind of cool because there's not a lot of people going up there.
There's a repeater on top of Mount Eagle in Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's about halfway between Nashville and Knoxville, or Nashville and Chattanooga, actually.
Yeah.
Is that you could probably work from where you are in North Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is like an HF repeater?
No.
No.
It's 2 meters.
I think it's 2 meter.
It's just that the one I'm talking about on Mount Mitchell it's at 6,000 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You could literally.
Yeah, Mount Mitchell's the highest point in
in
the eastern United States.
Yeah, and if you're at a point 200 miles away and you're 3,000 or 4,000 feet up on another mountain, it's literally line of sight, even though it's 200 miles away.
Well, you can drive up I-85 between Atlanta and Charlotte. Once you get to about Spartanburg, well, not Spartanburg, but Anderson up in that area, you can get on this thing and talk to people solid for quite some time.
Yeah.
Off of I-85.
So just remember, if you've only done ham radio down here, if you're going to go on a trip or somewhere, it's worth it to look up the repeater frequencies for these big repeaters up in the areas where you're going to be and actually program them in. I also, I have a program I wrote for when I go up to my cabin, and whatever radios I'm bringing with me, I blow this program into them. And it's basically the standard frequency list for up there, but it also has all the SARNet frequencies in progression, starting at Lee County, going all the way up to Live Oak, so that I can stay on SARNet going in and out of Florida. And then once I get into Georgia, I've got these 3 or 4 Atlanta stations I like to listen to going to Atlanta that are up on buildings you can hear for miles. And then once I get up there, I've got my little repeaters in my little towns up there, and they don't do a lot up there on ham radio because there's not a lot of people up there. But but they do have a couple nets every week. All right. Anything else? Any other extreme amateur radio stuff you guys want to tell us about real quick before we move on?
But you could look at W8JI's site. He has, he's in the middle of Georgia. He's around Macon, I think, just below Macon. And he's got a lot of good stuff in there about how he protects his place, protects it against lightning, but he's got a 300-foot tower.
Oh, wow.
So you might want to look at that. W8JI.com. So
yeah, I'm on the website now. I've got it here. I'm going to go through here. So many good amateur radio websites.
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay. Let's see here.
See, when
Okay.
they've got a tower that's got intermittent white and red stripes on it,
Yep.
that's what you know.
Yeah.
It's a
So
big
that's up
talker.
there high. I don't remember if he said he's got a repeater on there, but y'all just look through that site and see all of the cables he's got running. That's a contest station. So that's
Yeah.
why it's so huge.
Oh,
I'll tell you guys, I so want to get into contesting more. I'm getting where I really love it. It's really cool stuff. All right, let's
Yeah, there you go. That's him. Well, that's
man,
the
look
guy.
at that.
Name is
yeah,
Tom
there you go.
Ralph.
Look at that. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have a huge crane.
Oh, yeah.
Is that like
Listen,
the
that-
world's law? Look, go back up just for a second. Now, I'm a retired firefighter, and I'm going to tell you that's the world's tallest fire ladder I've ever seen in my life right there. Okay. I got
I don't know how he got that there, but he did. So
that is the tallest ladder I've ever seen in my life. I mean, what?
He props it up against the antenna towers to climb it.
I don't remember if that's Ron 45 or 65, but he's got a 65 up there. And that's the one that goes up about 300 feet.
Oh, I see. That wasn't a ladder. That was the actual antenna they were putting up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at that. I thought that other thing was the actual antenna at first. I'm like,
Yeah.
what am I looking at here? Okay.
Yeah. But
This is
The one
amateur
on-
radio stuff we're looking at. My Lord.
absolutely. Well, he's got a repeater in that one on the left. And then see the beam on the one on the right.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's probably, I wouldn't be
He's got
surprised
more.
if
He's got one here and here and here, and he's got 4 stacked up beams and some hexagon shaped right here too. I don't know what that is.
I'm not sure what it is either.
Wow. Yeah, you better have a repeater up there. That's what you gotta do. If you have one of these giant towers, you gotta put a repeater up there.
Which I got a repeater in.
Oh wow, that's a very tall tower. Look how tall that is. That's taller than all the others.
That's more like
Why is that even guide? It's like wow.
Well, that's cool.
yeah, he's got a great station.
That's
All
awesome.
right. Well, guys, I hope you enjoy it. We just try to take a little trip to show you guys some of what's going on out there in ham radio, because I think a lot of people don't realize how crazy ham radio can be. There's a lot of people that are fanatical like me and have money, and that's a dangerous combination.
That is a whole combination.
Ian, I've got one.
The Lord's only blessed me with one of those two problems.
Ian, I've got a crazy guy like you who's got more money than sense.
Really?
Yeah, Echo, Kilo Echo 5, Echo Echo. If you permit me, I'll share the screen with you.
Yeah,
He's-
go ahead.
Do this.
He's
It's
got
open.
a 200-foot rotating tower with 6 step IR 3-element beams on it.
Holy crap. We got to see this thing.
Nice.
You're sharing the screen, so we can't share it.
Yeah, here we go.
Holy shit.
It's a Stan, and you can work him any morning on 20 meters. This here, I don't know if you can you see my mouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So this here is the 200-foot rotator. There's the rotator. That's the 200-foot rotating
Wow.
mast, and he's got 6. You can kind of see them. That by are 3 elements on there. I think there's a better picture than that. But he is crazy
Oh my
rich.
God.
Yeah, there they are.
Man. I think that was
And somewhere I've got a picture of his whole Oh yeah, that's his whole setup. He's got 11 masts. So I'm not quite sure. He's got a
This-
4 square
Talk to him.
160. But at the beginning of his website, he says, "I am not a contester." So there's the
Yeah, that's hard to believe.
yeah, no, and he's not. It's not a contest station. So it's Kilo Echo 5 Echo Echo. Stan, really nice guy. First thing in the morning, I called in there one day. Just I knew more or less where he was, and I was working up in Pensacola, and I went round there one evening after work. I'm going to show you some more pictures. There's a picture of his shack in there, but it's changed since then.
This
And
might
I
be the
was
guy.
driving, he lives on a corner, so I was driving around it looking, and he came out. And then when he realized it was me, he asked me in, and we had a look round. His wife is absolutely gorgeous as well. I'm trying to show a picture of his shack. Yeah, there's one of the step IRs. He replaced the step IRs that we saw earlier with the newer ones. Oh, I got a picture of his shack here somewhere. Yeah,
They're
there it
in
is.
here. Yeah.
So
Nice.
you'll recognize these as the
Wow.
high-end Kenwoods.
Indeed.
There's 4 of them.
Got
This is
4
a
of them.
bank of amplifiers, and this is some kind of clever switching.
Are those tuners?
Yeah, they might be. I don't know. It's beyond my.
Wow. I think this is the guy who had the 4-inch thick feed line.
Yeah, there's a picture of that here somewhere as well. Yeah, there's the. No, that's the older step IRs. But that's the 200-foot rotating tower. He's replaced these now with the trombone type. That's when I saw it at the trombones. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
And he's got a picture with that's the regular
LMR 400.
in the middle of it.
That's the LMR 400 in the middle there.
And then the hard line. Jeez, you could put a broadcast station on that hard line.
Well, his losses, he's got a 200-foot line of this, and his losses are greater in the pigtail than they are in the 200-foot line.
Oh, I'm certain.
And there's the rotator.
Is that his ham shack?
This is just
Yeah.
things. But
Well,
I tell you,
that's-
you can work in any morning.
That's his outhouse.
Yeah, you can work.
Well,
in
it's
any
like
morning.
Doctor Who. It's a lot bigger on the inside than on the outside. So-
You like the TARDIS. Anyway,
Yeah.
he's a real nice guy. 14207 in the mornings, and he actually, encourages you to call him, and he will put you in contact with the Japanese stations and Indonesian stations and wherever. Really nice guy. So you don't have to be an asshole to have money, and most people are, but unfortunately he's not. So, and I will share mine. I've got a crazy station, and I don't think anyone can beat this. I've got 13 antennas in my attic.
In your attic? Ooh,
Attic.
we're
Let's see.
probably second place.
I think I can follow.
5-element step IR beams. You gotta have a big attic there.
No, I haven't got a step over. I've got a couple of bazookas, 20-meter bazookas. I've got one 40-meter offset center fed window, which is like kinked, and I've got an 80-meter, which is technically 3/4 of it is in the attic. A little bit of it is out the rear lanai, and a little bit is out the front. Then I've got a 6-meter hamstick vertical. I've got a 6-meter loop. I've got a 4-element 6-meter beam that I had to build up there and fit between all the joists. I've actually got pictures.
Ooh, man, that must not have been
And
fun.
I've got 3 Moxons for 6 meters because I can't rotate. I live in an HOA, so I've got the 4-element pointing northwest, and then the others are pointing at the opposite end. And then I've got a 2-meter 77s vertical. I've got a 2-meter Slim Jim, which I've just been modifying to work on, made a copper pipe to work on 77s, and another 6-meter vertical, which is a ladder line Slim Jim. So there are other crazy peoples out there, Ian. And if I-
We're
There you
second
go.
place. We have 6 total antennas in our attic.
Well, I've got 3 more to go up when I've got time. I'm going to put a 20-meter Moxon,
Oh my God.
wire. And then I want to put, I'm actually designing a 2 meter and 70 sems Moxon, but they fit inside of each other in a cross. So, because where I live here in Bonita Springs, I'm exactly 90 degrees between our two local repeaters, the 030 and the 670. So if I put two Moxons, one for 70 sems, one for 2 meters, you know, opposite to each other at 90 degrees, they'll feed both the repeaters. In theory, I have got pictures. Oh, I did find the pictures. No, no, yeah. There's the beam.
Oh, wow.
I can't open.
You got a lot of room up there. You got a really tall.
Yeah, here's the 6 meter beam.
Wow.
As you can see, I had to build it in.
Wow.
If I can change, there's one of the Moxons.
Yeah.
Built on Ian's favorite stuff.
PVC.
There's one of the, this here is the 40 meter Wyndham. It goes off that direction and off that direction. And then this is the feed down to that's the ballam, and then it feeds down to the choke. This is the elements for the 6 meter. This is a different Moxon pointing in the other direction. There's the Slim Jim, which now has got a 1/2 inch copper pipe section there to make it work on 70 sems and 2 meters. Here's the other part of the 40 meter window. And I'll put lights up there, as you can see, plenty of light.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the 2 meter. There's a ladder. It gives you some idea how big the attic is. This is a ladder.
Oh, yeah, you got a huge attic.
This is a 2 meter, 70 sems vertical. Yeah, that's a different Moxon as well. That's the 3rd Moxon. And then in the background, I know it's running above me here, is the, what's the mother-in-law? So I think there was a couple earlier on that we'd missed. Yeah, that's the sharp end of the 6 meter dipole. 6 meter beam, sorry, 4 element. This is the feed line. And really, this crap doesn't make any difference. But what I found out is that Moxons really don't care about all this. Everything else does. No, that's about it. Everything else really is affected by, as you see, there's not much metal in the attic. I took out all the metal ones and replaced with wood on the, this I put in, but these are how the house was constructed. But these used to be metal, and I took them out and replaced them with high grade plywood, as you can see, all the way through. And here, to give me less metal crap around the roof.
Wow. That is super cool.
So anyway, I thought I'd share. There's more lunatics out here than you think.
Which direction is that 6 meter beam facing?
That's facing northeast.
Oh, good.
So that I'll show you who I am for a minute. There you go. So that's facing in the northeast, and then the other Moxon's facing the one southwest, and then the other 2 in the opposite directions to that.
So you have, how do you like the performance of the Moxons as, say, like a 3 element beam or something like that? Are they better than that? Or?
Yeah, I think it is. But the main thing is that whatever you build out in the drive, I usually build my antennas out in the drive or the side of the house. I've got a nice plot of area by the side of the house. Whatever I build there, and I construct it, I set it up, I put the SWR, you know, get resonance first, and then I get SWR, everything else all works. And then when I put it up in the attic, it's all different. But when I build a Moxon, and what I'm doing now is I bought a small brazing kit and a welder. So now I'm remaking the Moxons. Instead of making them out of the plastic tubing and wire, I'm making them out of well, it's aluminum tubing, you know, that they make antennas with. So I'm starting to build those. But What it means is if I build them outside and I put them in the attic, they perform exactly the same. They seem to be very, very insensitive, if that's the right word, to the environment that they're in.
Yeah.
But 3 elements and stuff, yeah, I think they're better. But I mean, there's a million things, you know, like when you build an antenna in the attic, it does not perform like the same antenna outside. No. And there's all sorts of things like you're only an absolute maximum of 25 feet above the ground. So, you know, none of your antennas are going to perform very well. And the things like the offset, a dipole does not work very well in the attic at all. I've got, there's also, you didn't see it there, there's also a ham stick dipole up there for 6 meters, which I use on Ft8. But a dipole does not seem to like all the crap around the house. But the off-center fed dipole, especially the Wyndhams, they seem to be a lot more tolerant. You've got to make them a little bit shorter because you're closer to the ground. But they work.
That's like my experience with the end-fed half-wave antennas. They're equivalent in radiation to a dipole, but they do not seem to be as reactive to their surroundings like a dipole is. So your end it's fed at a very high impedance end, and it seems to be just about insensitive to how high it is, and they do work very well.
Yeah. Well, I've only lived here now. Well, I've had my ham shack set up now for just about 15 months, and I've worked 91 countries.
Awesome.
On different bands, and I've worked WAS, but I haven't got confirmation. I'm still waiting for confirmation on 4 states, and I've got. I mean, what's up with Wyoming? I've had 1 contact in Wyoming in all this period. And I've got, on 6 meters, I've got confirmation for 24 states.
Yeah.
6 meters is my favorite band.
Now, about how high are your antennas above the ground?
Absolute maximum, that's the peak. That's above, I've got 2 peaks in the roof, is 25 feet.
Pretty neat.
So it's not high.
Yeah.
And I try to, you know, and I can't put everything up there. So I try to put, you know, the antennas, separate them so I can, you know, keep the, as best as I can. They don't seem to affect each other too much, but if I put like a vertical polarized next to a horizontal, then, you know, they don't seem to have any problem. But I use a nano VNA and I plot everything here, save the plots, go up in the attic and do something. The other thing is, which is fantastic, is your feed lengths are nothing.
Yeah, that is an advantage.
The center of this, but then again, your RFI is a little bit of a problem. But the center of the attic is just above my shack. My shack's in the middle of the house, so I've got a closet where the antennas come down. I use a switching box. I'm just putting another one up there, so I don't have so many cables coming down. So,
what do you use for coax?
Well, I treat this here just like you would QRP, where you use the best of everything.
Yeah.
So I've actually got both of the switches, the remote switches, use LMR 400. I know it's ridiculous; it's like 20 feet at max, but every little tiny bit counts. When you're, you know, the weakest setup here is the antenna, so I want to squeeze every last ounce out of those that I can. So I use nothing less than RGA. I use some 213 for the velocity factor, you know, for the bazookas. I've got a couple of bazookas up there, which I'm probably going to take down because they don't perform very well. But they were supposed to be good, but they're not. And I feed those with 213, but everything else is RGA or LMR 400 because, you know, I'm buying 20 feet.
Yeah.
It's not like investing a fortune, you know.
That's like my biggest HF antennas around the front, and I've run it through a 100-foot piece of LMR 400.
Yeah.
So, and I've had pretty good results with it.
All right. Any questions on that, guys, for Dave or Rick or anybody? All right. And I just will say this. I know that Yagis are my antenna, and I have been doing them for a while. And I have noticed that they are very affected by their surrounding.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that I can make a perfect 5 or 7 element Yagi and put it out there on a tripod in the front yard and get it perfect. Perfect. And then I move it around, put it on a beam, put it somewhere else, put it up here. And I have to go literally back and start getting it back to where I want it again.
You should try a Moxon.
Yeah.
Moxons are very easy to make, and they're very stable.
Yeah.
But I will tell you one thing about the Yagis I found is if you use a non-conductive mast and a non-conductive beam, and you don't get them near anything else, they perform amazingly. But the ones I've built with a conductive beam have not done as well. So the PVC ones do the best. All right. And that's probably just because I'm homebrewing them. And when you homebrew something and your mast is non-conductive and your beam is non-conductive, I guess it's kind of like cheating a little bit. But anyway, all right. Anything else on that? Any other extreme stuff you guys want to talk about or any of that before we move on? I do have lots of news tonight.
Just one thing real quick, Ian.
Okay.
And this is an amateur radio, but still it's something that I think a lot of the guys on here would be a lot of the folks on here would be interested in. Google WRMI. It's a shortwave station over north of Okeechobee.
Oh yeah,
and they've got 14 different shortwave stations running out of the same building. And once in a while, they have an open house. And if you ever get the chance to get over there and see it, that is something to really see. And, that is definitely an extreme shortwave station.
I'm looking at the pictures of it here on their website.
I know I've seen the Voice of America Greenville transmitter before they turned it off, and that was amazing. Oh, yeah.
The pictures on the website do not do it justice.
Oh, I'm sure they don't.
Cow.
Yeah.
You load up enough cows, you can get out on 80 meters.
That's the thing. They've got acres and acres and acres of cow pasture. So they've got acres and acres and acres of place that they can have wire antennas up.
And acres and acres of bovine scatology.
For all, well, yeah, but at least the antennas are above that.
Yeah.
It's really something to see.
Wow, you can see them all in the distance.
Where from Okeechobee is that? Is it north of it or?
It's north of the town of Okeechobee, almost to Yeehaw Junction.
Okay.
It's only like 10, 15 miles south of Yeehaw Junction.
Did they rip that hotel down yet?
I don't know.
At Yeehaw Junction?
I have no idea.
The hotel and the little inn that they had there and that little truck stop. Yeehaw Junction's that one. It's really weird. It's like one highway and another one, but they're on a weird angle with each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And right there at the corner, there's like it was a restaurant and a little truck stop, and they have a little hotel in the back. Well, they closed it down, and not long after it closed down, a semi drove through it.
That's cute.
Yeah, and my wife and I actually stopped by there and took some pictures of it, but they hadn't tore it down yet. The whole front of it was smashed all the way towards the back. It was pretty bad. So anyway, but yeah, that was when you mentioned Yeehaw Junction. I'm like, yeah, no, they used to call it something else, but I won't say it on here. But anyway. All right, so let's get back to here and here. And here. All right. Lots of gear shifting here. There we go. Ham radio news. And lots and lots of news. And I got to tell you guys, there is a lot of cool things going on this weekend. There's a couple of neat contests going on. And there's also an SSTV thing going on with the space station. So we're going to get into all of that. But without further ado, I think I'll let Joseph, you want to take this one?
Sure. So I recently discovered a new software-defined radio program which is good because we definitely need more. SDR plus plus. I found out about it because they were making posts because there's a new version. And when you first look at this, it looks very similar to SDR Sharp, like the
Almost identical.
almost identical. Yeah. When you're using it, it's almost identical. The menus are all pretty much the same, but it's focused on being bloat free and having good performance. I know on some of our older computer or some of Ian's older computers, SDR Sharp will crash a lot and it'll just behave very sluggishly. But this thing, man, this thing is awesome. It runs great. They have their own custom DSP, which I think it means digital signal processor. The performance is great, and it's cross-platform, which is something I'm really excited about, because too many of these programs only work on one, except for like GQRX. They all only work on Windows. This works on Linux and Windows, and I have tried it on both, and it does work.
Raspberry Pi?
Yes, it will work on a Raspberry Pi.
Oh, awesome.
I've seen people complaining about having problems compiling it for Raspberry Pi, but they say on the main page it works on a Pi 4. So the only other software I know that worked reliably on a Pi 4 was Cubic SDR. So this is better than Cubic. So yeah, it works with all the standard hardware. It also amazingly supports SPI server. So it doesn't have like the little map where you can select them, but if you put in the IP address, you can still connect to a SPI server device, which is pretty awesome because SDR Sharp and SDR Console are the only applications that support that, and those are both Windows. So this means now you can use SPI server on Linux, which is something I desperately needed if I was going to switch to being full-time Linux. So yeah, you can install plugins, but I don't think there are any made yet. It also has some other cool stuff like satellite demodulators, which I'm not exactly sure what that means, because it doesn't give you the satellite picture like in the software, but it has like a custom filter width or something, I think. It also has built-in dual VFO, which is something that only SDR Sharp can do with a plugin. This has it built in, so you can listen to 2 frequencies at once or more. Everything else is pretty standard for SDR Sharp. The interface is the same. It does all pretty much the same stuff. It just runs really well. It hasn't crashed for me a single time. Well, it crashes when I try and use my HackRF, but that's the fault of the HackRF driver, not the actual program. So yeah, a new software.
If it's stable, I'm happy, because I love SDR Sharp. The only complaint I have about SDR Sharp is the freezing and glitchy, and if you start manipulating the windows, it'll just lock up. So hopefully this one won't do that.
You know,
it'd be nice if this did like Opera and Chrome, where it would run the plugins for SDR Sharp.
Oh,
that
man,
would really
that'd
be
be
cool, wouldn't it?
Then we could have the scanner plugin. I hope they add a scanner plugin to it at some point.
Oh, I'm sure they will. Just a matter of somebody writing it.
Yep.
And it won't be me.
Maybe it'll be me. But yeah, this is a really
Last time I wrote
a
complete program from start to finish was for my final project in 8th grade on my TRS-80. Yeah.
Man.
And it was basically, we were designating which pixels would be on and which ones would be off to create a picture.
Oh, man.
Using lines of code, dude. We would sit there day after day typing lines of code. Hey, I got line 33 done today. Oh, that's awesome. I got to save that on my tape drive.
Oh, man.
Okay, I got it saved. Okay. All right, next. I'll give you this
FCC allows FM modulation on CB. Now,
like anybody ever cared what FCC wants to do on CB. But anyway, here you go.
I know this is not ham radio, but
really.
It is somewhat interesting. They have
Steely Dan. FM, no static at all.
Yeah,
see,
that's what they
to
want.
me, this is the real amateur radio, but whatever.
Yeah, FCC has said now that they haven't banned AM, they have just allowed FM, which was already allowed in many other parts of the world, like the UK and most of Europe, already had FM support, and apparently that FM is like the main mode they use over there, which is something I didn't know. So they've allowed it, yeah. And a lot of people are saying that this is because the CB manufacturers just want to make more money, because now they get to sell a whole new line of radios with the FM built in, because all of the US radios right now only have AM or single sideband if you're lucky. And the other thing I saw brought up was the FM has that capture effect, which they're saying it's going to be better to make people use it for local use. I guess they're trying to, I don't know, guide people into not doing like skip and stuff, which I'm not really sure why they would do that, because that's not going to stop anybody.
10-meter FM.
Yeah, I don't understand. I've just seen this. I've read this a lot of people saying, oh, it's a capture effect. Oh, it's going to make it more local. But I don't know how true that is.
We may get a Spanish station from St. Petersburg covering you up.
Yeah, you might. And that's, you can't hear them both at the same time anymore. It's just going to be like,
So am I going to be able to buy my President Roosevelt with FM?
Yeah,
that's my question.
Yes, you will. Cobra, Uniden, they're all going to make FM CB radios now.
For those of you guys that don't know, in CB radios, there's a company called President, I think. Yeah. And they actually make CBs. And over the years, the models of their CBs have been the names of the presidents.
Really?
And so you actually buy a Herbert Hoover or whatever. I may just make one up that they don't make one. I don't know, but I'm just.
Does this mean we're gonna get the Trump radio?
I'm not familiar with a Hoover, or I don't think the Trump has been announced yet.
Well, that would be cool.
There's some presidents you push the transmitter button and all you got to do is supply them smoke.
There you go.
I'm not going to get into politics here.
I could come up with a joke for each president on both sides, and I'm just going to leave it there.
No doubt. Anyway, the company President is a subsidiary of Uniden. They not only make the President line of CBs, they also make the Cobra line of CBs.
Got a CB radio right here.
But it is all Uniden.
This one is very similar to the one in the picture. Huh.
Yeah, there you go.
I believe I have a President 10-meter rig.
Really?
What?
Yes, it's the NR 2600, I believe it is. It does AM, FM, sideband, and CW.
Huh.
Wow.
All mode.
Well, that's cool. Those should be named after vice presidents or something.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Next thing. ARRL now provides free RF exposure calculator. Where's my breaking news sounder? This is a breaking news alert.
Somebody brandish your kazoo.
I don't care. Whatever. If you guys want to calculate your exposure, you want to know something? Be a barefoot bandit like me, and you'll never have to worry about RF exposure. You might burn your finger. Ian. You may burn your finger over here.
There's where you're wrong, Ian.
Oh, great.
The rules recently changed, and any amateur radio station is required to do a survey.
Oh yeah, I did mine.
And it used to be if you ran under a certain amount of power that you were exempt, but they did away with that exemption. Hence the ARRL coming out with this tool, so people can put the numbers in on their computer, print it out, and say, "Yeah, I've done my survey."
So just to say, we have a free RF exposure return due on April 15th, or what?
I believe this is something you just have to keep on file in the shack, correct? It's not something you submit to anybody. And it's something, if they're going to audit you, you will get notice. So at that point, you can go back and create whatever documentation you might have been missing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Hey, Joseph?
Yeah.
Do you still have the salmon form from when you took your upgrade?
Somewhere, maybe.
That's what it's all about.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I gotta tell you, salmon color papers have got to be one of my favorites. My goodness.
I've got that somewhere. Yeah, I was reading that before I took the thing. Yeah, They removed the I was interested in it because they grayed out the section about 70 centimeters being, I think 70 centimeters was
Right.
exempt under a
Right.
certain power limit. Now they graded that out. I just did the calculator here. It says minimum safe distance would be 15 feet from my antenna, which is yes, that's about 15 feet away. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But
Yeah, well, your vertical separation counts as well. So
Right.
if
Yeah.
you're 30 feet in the air, you've got separation from everything.
yep. Just sometimes I have it lowered, but I think it's still about 15 feet.
Well, just make sure you shoot it to your brother's room then.
Yeah, good idea.
All right.
Actually,
well,
does it count? It doesn't count whether you're sitting at the back of it or not. It doesn't ask you if it's a.
yeah, well, see that if the Yegi's shooting in your face, that should count for like 4 more points. Okay. All right. So there you go. If you need to figure this out, I'm telling you, they're not going to be auditing a bunch of folks. But if you're running a high power station, you do need to be aware of this stuff.
You
And
mean like
everyone-
one of those, 900
like-
watt biophones?
Yeah, there you
They
go.
better do
And
it,
like
yeah.
John says, everyone needs to be aware of it now because the salmon sheet has changed.
Ooh, the salmon sheet changed.
All right, so there we go. Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, here we
Drum
go.
roll, please. Wah wah.
No
The
drum.
QSO Today Virtual Ham Expo. I'm mentioning it because look, here's the thing. Okay. For those of you who got the ham radio thing today, I put an opinion piece in there about it. These are good folks. They're trying to do a good thing. And I don't want to disparage too hardly on them, too harshly, whatever. But I will say I tried a little bit of the last two and was not impressed. So it's one of those things. If you like this sort of thing, you might like this sort of thing. To me, you lose all of those things that you would normally go to a ham fest for, to talk to people, to shake hands, to tailgate, to walk amongst the tailgaters, to talk to vendors, look them in the eye, touch dials on radios and twist and turn things, and
Pick up chicks.
There's so many reasons why you go to a ham fest.
Money for nothing.
Pick up chicks, really, John? You've probably had the same luck through the years I've had.
I'm
Anyway,
surprised I didn't get any more reaction than
Money
I
for
did off
nothing
that.
and your chicks are free.
I had to wait till I got a reaction I could say. Anyway, I'm not much on this whole Hamfest thing, but I will tell you other people have enjoyed it. And so I don't want to be too disparaging. I want to say, here it is. Here's what it is. They do connect you with vendors. There is some deals that will come out. I will say that I never found any deals in here that I thought were that great, that I couldn't beat by just doing some power shopping online. So it's one of those things. So because I don't have much positive to say, I'd like to open it up to anyone that has anything positive or negative to say about this, because I'd like to get some other opinions on it, because mine's not so great.
Well, the first one wasn't too bad. The last one was Hiccup City. I mean,
Well,
you
the
had-
first one, I couldn't watch much in the first one either. It was pretty bad.
The thing I like about it is all of the forums are available for replay. Try to go to
Right.
all the forums in the Hamfest and you won't be able to do anything.
Right.
But you do it all, you can actually do that on something like this. Now,
Right.
you know, like you mentioned, sometimes the forums aren't as good as stuff you can get on YouTube at
Right.
any time. So it's, you pay your money and you take your chances. But like I said, the first one was pretty neat. It was a nice thing to have during the pandemic. But the second one, like I said, you hiccuped it was like somebody on solid 100% hiccups all the way down the road. It was horrible.
Yeah, I hope they do better this time with the technology, because the government is the only people that are allowed to continuously fail and still stay in business. So I hope they can get that figured out. Yeah, it was pretty bad last time, both times for me anyway. You know, and the one thing that struck me that they did better with the second time, and I will preface this by saying they did better with this the second time. The first time, the very first one I was actually able to get into, the person was talking to us from his living room, and there was dirty clothes stacked in the corner behind him on the left. Now, I understand we all have things in the background. This is our homes. It's no big deal. But if you're teaching a class to 10,000 people, you'd think you'd hang up a curtain or something.
Yeah, that's right. You'd take your laundry and put it somewhere else.
Right. So it's no big deal. But those kind of things tend to cheapen the experience. And then when you turn around the next one and we're now going to charge for this experience, I'm like, well, okay, I hope we got them backgrounds figured out.
Really?
But come to find out, they didn't have the video figured out. So, yeah. But anyway, like I said, it's coming up. If you guys want to try it, they're going to charge you $10 if you pay ahead of time, $12 at the door. And the virtual door. Thank you.
It works under Linux, I'll say that.
Yeah.
There you go.
It was interesting. There was some weird things about it. Like I said, that when I was in, it was weird. The vendor booths were weird. I guess what it was once the newness wore off and I went everywhere there was to go and I looked out of the windows of this fake place and I don't know. After I did everything there was to do and I watched a couple of talks or whatever, and then I found it boring. It didn't get anywhere for me.
Put you to sleep.
So anyway, I'm just putting that out there. I give you the good and the bad. Does anybody else have any positive or negative experiences with the QSO Today Virtual Ham Expo? All right. Well, I will end by saying these are good folks. I actually spoke to somebody a while back, a ham up a couple counties north of here, that's friends with these guys that do this. And they're actually a bunch of really good guys. They're trying to do something cool, and they're trying to keep it relatively cheap and not make a big money maker out of it. We'll see how that goes. But anyway.
I didn't even know this was a thing until today.
Well, if you ask me, it really isn't.
See, I feel like what they're going to try and do is take a real life thing and try and pack it into a virtual thing, and it's just not going to work.
Here's how it came about, Joseph. Because of everybody not having their ham fests on account of COVID, they came up with this so the vendors could still sell some radios.
There you go.
Right, and you do what you got to do in an emergency, and I get it, and we're kind of still in that, so it's fine.
Seem to be going back into it.
Yeah, let's not get into all that. Okay, the next thing is the WSJTX. The new beta version is out. If anybody out there is a beta tester, it's out, and you can download it and test it. And they ask you to let them know of any problems that you get. Obviously, if you're beta testing. I don't know what all this new thing does or whatever, but it does have a couple of new modes as always. I'll be honest, they keep coming out with new modes and new things and new buttons and all that. And I go on every day and use the same 6 things I've been using on it all along. So I don't know. It's one of those kind of things. And maybe somebody can answer this, but on WSJTX, I go to now that I have rig control. My God, I got rig control.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And that's another story for a minute.
Pleasure.
I'll tell you in a minute. But now that I got rig control, I like to bounce around and see if I can find stuff because I don't have to do everything manually anymore. And so I will go look at all those other modes that are on there. And I never see anything, never decode anything on any of those other modes. Some of them are like a minute long. And I let it run for 2 full minutes and don't get a single thing. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I got to like call John and say, hey, John, go to this obscure mode on this obscure channel and let's see if we can talk. Because I don't know. Does anybody know? Is anybody using any of the other modes besides 4? FT8 and FT4 are both being used. FT4 has been a little popular lately on 40, and I'm going to tell you why. 40 has been so busy in the evening sometimes I can't even find a parking space. I drive around a parking lot for 20 minutes. So what you got to do is you go to FT4. anytime you drive around the parking lot one time and you don't find a parking space, you go to FT4, boom, there's parking spaces and they're twice as wide. And yeah, I've been doing good on FT4. I've really got a lot of contacts on FT4 in the last few weeks because I've been going there every time FT8's really busy. The second thing, rig control. We were working with it. Joseph had dialed in, and we were both working on it at the same time. It was one of those things. And we start troubleshooting it. We go through it. The radio was factory reset 3 different times. We tried everything we could think of. We went through the books. We looked up this. We looked up that. You know what it was? The radio pigtail can be assigned to other things like a tuner. It was assigned to a tuner instead of a computer. You access that in the menu under tuner, not computer controller CAT. So I stumbled on it by accident. We were literally both just throwing things on the wall to see what would stick. And I come across this and I'm like, wait a minute, it says that this pigtail. And so I started looking, and sure enough, when I got in there and I turned the knob one click and it changed it to CAT, and it works. It works. So now I'm trying to find the family of the person that used to own this radio so I can go meet them. No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to figure out why a factory reset did not reset that.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
It's interesting.
That might be the factory default, because probably more people run tuners than run cat control, especially in the era that radio was built.
Yep. Oh, and I love my FT100. I love it all day long. I've made like almost, I'm coming up on 6,000 contacts with this thing.
Wow.
On every frequency from 70 sems all the way to 160. So yeah, I'm happy with it. Okay, anyway, but this new version of this is out, and so check that out. Okay, contest this weekend. There's 2 kind of cool contests. Is it Batava? I don't know. Anybody know? It's an Ft8 contest. Now, I don't know anything about this. I found this today when I was preparing the slide. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what's involved with this, but I think I'm going to check it out in the morning and see if it's something I can get involved with. Some of these contests, I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's a little gratuitous, but I'm going to tell you, when there's an Ft8 contest, you don't have to submit a log. All you got to do is go in there and make sure that you're giving the right exchange for the contest, and boom, you can go make contacts for your logbook. I check and make sure that if it requires a confirmed QSO, like through the contest, then I don't do it. But most contests don't. And so as long as I just confirm it through Logbook of the World and the EQSL and the 3 other ones, whatever it is. QRZ. I'm confirming with 5 now, I think. Anyway, I might try this. I don't know much about it, but I may try this because this might be really cool. I got to look it up and go to their website. And I'm going to tell you guys, when you're doing Ft8 or any digital mode contesting, go to the website and look, because there's usually channels or frequencies that they're using. And you don't just, like, if it's phone, you go out and you just start calling out in the middle of the wilderness. But with contests on digital, a lot of times there is set bands or frequency ranges that you can go to. Or in some cases I worked in Ft8 one time about 3 or 4 months ago, where the entire contest was on one frequency and everybody just went to that one frequency. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. It depends on the contest, so check it out. The other contest is this 1010 International. I was going to get involved in 1010 International. You got to pay money. Now, of course, being poor makes this acute, but I don't like paying money. It's a hobby. It's a free thing. I don't like paying money. What am I getting for my money? I'm already a member of all these other things. So I'm not joining the 2020 10 International Club. I was going to. I literally started filling it out, and I'm like, they want me to pay like money every year to be, this was going to be my thought of the day, and I swear I didn't have time to type it up. But I got to tell you guys something. I really do not like the contesting, the way it's set up with the money and the certificates and all that stuff. I'm going to tell you guys, I don't like it. I went on the logbook of the world a while back to figure out what I had to do to sign up for what is that big award everybody's always talking about, the DXCC or whatever.
Yeah.
The big award with logbook of the world, right? I wanted to be able to sign up for it, right? So I went on there to sign up for it. I got to buy my QSOs from them. I got to buy my QSOs from them. And I swear I looked at that and I read it like 4 times. And I turned and looked at my wife and I said, these people are smoking crack. There's no way that I'm going to buy QSOs that I made 6 months ago so that these people will give me credit for. Crack. So, that being said, don't really care much about that anymore. QRZ has free awards and they're really cool. Just make up your own certificate if you really need one. I don't care about the certificates, but I wanted to get that DXCC award thing. I thought it would be cool. And I'm close. I probably could get it the next 3 months if I worked at it. I've already got all but I think 1 or 2 of the awards they offer on QRZ. Space weather update. Okay, there's a co-rotating interaction region is coming. Yeah, this is exciting stuff here, folks. But the cool thing about these things, this is like an overlapping of 2 energy regions. And what happens is when these regions come together, they can affect our magnetic field. And of course, that affects our radio propagation. So there's kind of a chance that coming out of tonight, we might have a little bit of a disturbance. But as I was checking, it really hasn't materialized. So right now, kind of quiet. The disk's quiet. But I will tell you that there's a lot of people out there that believe that, and I'm going to get to this in just a minute, but I got these out of order. But there's a lot of people that believe that we're coming into the next solar cycle a year early. And we're going to talk about that.
I read that today someplace.
Yeah. Coming soon, the Perseid meteor shower. This is literally going on right now. It started a few days ago, and it's going to peak out on August 11th and 12th in just a few days. Dark sky locations, of course, always better. And it's cool because we're moonless for this one. And of course, you guys know the moon plays a huge role. The moon can take it from 10 visible up to 100 visible when the moon's not out. So it makes a big, big, big difference. When the moon's out full and you're near a city, it almost has to be a fireball for you to see it. But when you go out to a dark sky location, you have no moon. You could literally sit there and see more than 1 per minute. So this is going to be a cool year for this. So if you haven't seen one in a while, this might be the one. Tropical update. We got 2 areas that we're watching here. There's an area of disorganized cloudiness and thunderstorms right there, as you can see. They're both located actually right in the intertropical convergence zone. There's one that's going to take a run at the northern Windward Islands. That second one is also probably going to head towards the northern Windward Islands as well. And I figure we could run the models here real quick. Yeah, let's run these real quick here. Okay, guys, remember, I absolutely love Mike's weather page. I know I have my own hurricane page that I hope you guys use, but I'm telling you, Mike's is much better than mine. I'm sorry, I'm just going to call it like it is. This is an amazing weather page. This man does a great job with this weather page.
You talk about spaghetti models?
SpaghettiModels.com.
Yeah,
SpaghettiModels.com.
They show a great GOES weather satellite view. I just love it.
What you do right up here. You all right?
Yes, you reminded me of my goes fail the other day.
Oh no. It's not a fail, it's a temporary setback. It's a fail when you yell swear words and smash it onto the ground and it goes into pieces, that's a fail. If it's still usable and salvageable, it's not a fail.
Not a fail. You
Yeah.
got to
And
pick it back up.
we just got to get it aimed right or something. That's all.
You just haven't tinkered with it enough.
Yeah.
I tinkered with it for a full day.
And I'm
Well,
going to show you
have to
guys.
tinker with it for a few more days.
No.
They updated this since I put the slide in, so I want to show you guys. I want to show you guys the slide here. This is. Oh, come on, just do it. There we go. All right, here we go. This is the actual slide for right now. Yes, we have 3 disturbances dancing their way across the intertropical right now. And each one, you can see the yellow ones there, gives this one only has a 10% chance of developing over the forecast period. This one here is a 20, and this one here is a 50. This one is interesting because there's going to be high pressure building in up here, which is going to keep this one down. If it stays down around this area, by the time it gets to the Windward Islands, it could take a run towards Florida. So the of these 3, this orange one out here, the one that's 14 days away, is the one I'd be watching right now. Yeah. So on Mike's weather page, what you do is you go up here to the top corner, right? And right here, there's these models. And we'll click the first one. Now, I'm going to show you guys how cool this is. You can do this at home. You scroll this up. Hello.
Scroll bar.
What's going on? Oh, hey. Oh, hey. Oh, what the heck? Okay, so you scroll this up a little bit. You get it. There's our model, okay? This is the model for today. Now, what we can do is using our up and down arrows, okay, we're going to run through the models. Now, I want you to notice you've got your 3 areas of low pressure. You've got 1 here, 2, and 3, okay? So now what we can do is we can actually use the arrows to run through time and see what the model believes, this GFS model, this is the American model, and see what it thinks is going to happen to these low pressure systems. The number you see there is the suggested pressure. So that's 1,012 millibars of mercury. Okay, so we're going to run this forward. Come on.
Oh, don't filch out on us.
Yeah, well, it's because I'm doing it while we're doing all this other stuff. So okay, so what I did was I ran it forward so it'd load all the frames. Now we can run it forward, and you can see here that it's not moving this stuff much.
High sure is dancing around.
Yeah, but notice the GFS really is not forming anything right now out of those systems. So that's interesting. Because earlier the GFS was actually picking up that 3rd one. All right, so let's look at this one now. This is the Euro model. I guess I got to wait for it to load or something.
GFS has been doing better this year than anything else. So
yeah, last 2 years the Euro outperformed the GFS. This year the GFS is outperforming the Euro.
So far,
yeah. And yeah, this is the Euro here. And you can see here the Euro does pick up 2 of the low pressure systems there. And it does move this one towards. What is going on with this thing? Doesn't really form anything though. I don't know why it's not going past there. This is really annoying. It does form a low pressure system that approaches the Windward Islands. And that's what I was wanting to show you. See that right there?
Yeah.
This is the one. Now, this was the best performing model the last 2 years, not this year so far. But notice it does form a 2009 millibar low pressure system that gets down to 2006 on the last run. This is a scenario that puts Florida in play. So this is why I'm saying that we just got to watch this one. because you know, this time of year, this is when these storms play. This is when this happens. This time of year. This one here, it also develops that low and brings it just a little higher than the other one. Takes it over Hispaniola and Haiti, and brings it right in over Cuba, and there it forms it as a low pressure system right off our coast at 1,011 millibars.
Yeah. Just
And it deepens it off the coast of Florida and then puts it towards Louisiana at 1,008 millibars, which is still a tropical storm.
yeah.
So, you know, nothing's really picking any of this up yet to be anything significant. So that's, I guess, the good news there. So anyway, Mike's weather page. When storms get named, they'll pop up here. Invest 92 is going to be that third storm out there. They've already started issuing basic information on it, and they're calling it Invest 92. That's basically investigation area 92. And you can see they're starting to show some model runs, and you can see a lot of those models are really taking that way over to the left.
West. Yeah.
But notice here, none of them but one are strengthening it to a tropical storm. There's just not a conducive atmosphere out there in the intertropical right now. So that's a good thing. And of course, it doesn't look impressive at all. So I'm not even going to bother pulling any of that up. So anyway, there you go. That's Mike's weather page. You guys check that out. Anytime weather is a mess, you can go to our page, the Southwest Florida TechNet page, and go under weather hurricanes. I have a great simplistic page there that just lists everything for you. But if you want to go in depth, I strongly suggest Mike's weather page. Guys, I sent out a great newsletter today. It was pretty long, lots of great news and stuff. If you don't get our newsletters, you don't have to join the team or do anything to get our newsletters, except just give me your call sign and your email address. That's all I ask for. Just go onto the website and click this blue thing that you see up in the upper right corner, and just put it in there, and I'll send it. I've got like 30 something people on there now that are getting this, and the Collier County group, Southwest Florida Amateur Radio.
I'll be right.
What's their name? I'm sorry, I screwed it up. Anyway, the group in Collier County is actually putting our link in their thing, and they're using some of my news stories. So that was kind of cool.
Amateur Radio Association of Southwest Florida.
Yes, that's it right there. That's it right there. So want to start working more with those guys down there. I didn't even know they really existed, to be honest with you. And I've now been in contact with them, and it's going good. So anyway, if you want to get these publications, they have a lot of great information, and you can unsubscribe at any time. Southwest Florida Club Repeater, we're on the 444-775. Give it a shot and see if you can get to us. I monitor that in the shack. I'll have it up out here all weekend. When I go in the house, I bring my portable in there with me. And
we had somebody on there today who I hadn't heard before.
Yeah. Somebody did a radio check with us after we got done talking. That was cool. I do monitor the 775, and I'm trying to monitor the 220 also, and answer people on there, just because I'm really interested in getting that band going. I like that band. So I'm monitoring those two, and then I also monitor the SARnet feeds. I've got all three of them fed into one speaker now in here, and I try to keep that turned up a little bit so I can hear when people are calling out there. Guys, I'm going to ask again. This is something that a lot of amateur radio operators ask of other amateur radio operators. When you call out on a repeater, don't just say your call sign. I know that that's technically all you have to do. And I know that old time amateur radio wise, that's fine. And that's perfectly acceptable. And I'm not trying to rewrite the book. But what I am saying is, if you want to get more responses on the repeater, I would suggest something like call sign on frequency listening on the 685. If you say that, we'll know where you are. I'll hear you on the scanner, and I'll turn on my radio over to that channel, and I'll call you and I'll say, hey, I'm on frequency. What's up? If you just key up and go, ga, 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 I don't know where you're at. I didn't see it on there. I don't know. And I won't answer you. I won't say who it is, but there's someone every day I hear calling out on frequency. Every day I hear him
What's their
3 or
call
4
sign?
times. I'm not going to do that. But he calls out every day. 2, 3, 4 times a day I hear him. And I don't know what frequency he's on. I hear him over on the 40 frequencies over here that we're scanning on the FMARC Broadcastify feed. And I hear him, but I don't know where he's at. So I can't respond to him. But he just yells his call sign. Call sign. And then I could hear he's getting aggravated. Call sign. And then he stops. And I'm like, dude, I would answer you back, but I don't know where you're at, you know, or are you wanting to talk? I don't know. So all I'm asking, guys, is if you hear somebody say on frequency listening or whatever, try to get on there and talk to them. And if you're calling out on frequency, anytime you're bored or you're in your car, you're in your shack, you want to talk to somebody, just pick up the mic on frequency listening and give the last three numbers of it so that we know where you're at. Any comments or questions on that?
Excellent suggestion, Ian, and I always try to practice that. That said, we've also got one local ham that does it pretty much on every transmission, and that's not necessary. You know, if you're on a net, if you're on a net and you check into the net, you really don't have to say on the 685. We all know what frequency the net is on.
Yeah. I don't know why he does that. But,
well, I don't mind because it helps
That's the
remind
other
us that
extreme.
it's necessary for us to do it too, just maybe not quite as much. It's something I've gotten the habit of. Every now and then I get mixed up on what repeater I'm on. I have to look at the radio.
As have I.
so what I say, 444675 or 224.52 or something.
AA4JS on the 685. Oh, wait a minute. I'm on the 165.
Yeah, so I try every day. I call out on the 775 at least 3 or 4 times, and I'm trying to call out on the 685 a couple times too. And I'm trying to put my voice out there too, and hopefully get some conversations going. But I don't get many responses out there. Let's put it that way.
But keep doing it, and like Ian, I encourage you all to do it, because that's using these frequencies and using these repeaters. And if we don't use them, we're going to lose them. So, you know, when you're in your car or whatever, jump on and throw out your call and the frequency and try to get a conversation going. You know, I started doing that driving to work every morning. I drive to work. I generally leave the house about 20 minutes after 6. And so I would do that every morning. I do it on a couple of different local repeaters. And eventually I started finding somebody to talk to. And it got to be an everyday thing that there were 4 or 5 of us that would get on there and shoot the breeze, you know, on my morning commute at 6:30, 6:45 in the morning. And we're still, they're not a few, one of the guys retired and one changed job hours, but there's still a handful of us that do that every morning. And, you know, had I not started doing that in the mornings, you know, those repeaters might not have seen any use until, you know, later on the day, or maybe even in the evening when there's a net on.
Yeah, and I hear you guys a lot on the Broadcastify feed in the morning. I'm usually out here early in the mornings. I think I've reached the age of geriatrics because yes, I have. I know that's shocking. But I'm now getting to the point where when I get home from broadcasting at work, I'm so tired. I go in there and by 9:30 at night, I'm in bed like some old man. And I'm up at 4:30 in the morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and out here working on slideshows and radios, and there's nobody to talk to. But yeah, I hear you guys on the pharmaceutical net or whatever you guys call it.
We need a geriatric net.
No,
That's what-
we're way earlier than the pharmaceutical net. Those guys don't drag out of bed until nearly 9 o'clock.
Well, I was thinking about a geriatric net, maybe at 5:30 in the morning.
Would be a geriatric.
Yeah, I'll be net control because I'm up every morning. It seems at 5:30 in the morning lately. Oh Lord. Anyway, all right, so let's get back to this. Join today. The Southwest Florida Tech team is looking for people to join. I want to have some more meetings coming up, but I've been kind of holding back on doing our next club meeting because I'm trying to get a few more people to join. We're up to about 10 members right now, and I'm trying to get some more members to join so that when we have our meetings, we have enough people to, to have enough thoughtful input to get things going.
Poor
So
guy
anyway,
just can't get his check mark to stay, can he?
No, it keeps disappearing. Yeah.
Guy.
Yeah.
By now,
This
I'd
wouldn't
be
have happened if
cussing.
he had joined the tech net. If he had joined the tech team,
Must be
I'd
right,
be
wouldn't
swearing by now.
Well, what he's doing there. Oh, I want to say this, and it's so bad. I shouldn't say it. What he's doing there is he's voting Republican, but it keeps disappearing. Anyway, all right, there I said it. I'm sorry. If you're not,
Must be in Fulton County.
forgive
Georgia.
me. Please don't hold it against me. I don't like bringing politics here, but that was funny. Okay. Oh God, did I do this slide twice? Okay.
No, I haven't seen that one yet.
No, it's a different slide. It's just the same message.
Yeah, it's the same message, different slide. So there you go. Okay,
the
that must have
guy's
been
looking for people.
that was the night I was drinking. Okay, and this is spread the word about the TechNet. Guys, we're not getting the numbers that we need to get. I was hoping that we could get the word out a lot further than this. And if you guys could just help, whatever you can do, just let somebody know about it. That's all I'm asking. Just let
I
somebody
get on
know
the
about
Monday
it.
net, and I guess I'll just get on there and say something about this on Friday.
Yeah, that'd be great. I try to mention it on 2 or 3 nets a week. I also don't just go on nets to mention it. I'm kind of trying to be picky about not doing that because I don't want to franchise this thing here. But I do try to go on and get the word out as much as I can each week. So anyway, that's all. I'm just asking you guys if you can just let somebody else know to tune in anywhere in the world. They can be anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter. And then, of course, if you want to co-host a TechNet, that would be great. Joseph and I would love to help.
Yes.
I'll make your slideshow. We'll help them do all the background work, and we'll help you present it to whatever level you want us to help you. And so I don't know how much easier I can make it. I just need what's in your brain because I'm running dry here. And of course, the Southwest Florida TechNet is a wealth of resources. And like I said, that hurricane tab has been updated for the season. And you can check that out and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, there you go. I'm going to open it up to you guys now to any topics that you guys would like to bring up or anything you'd like to discuss tonight. Bring it up.
I've got a couple of things, Ian.
Okay.
First of all, the Russian module of the ISS is beaming SSTV pictures down. They started this morning. And,
where was that slide? I did that slide.
Are doing it through tomorrow. I didn't see a slide on that.
I didn't either. Okay, well, thank you, John.
I remember you mentioning it,
I
but
blew it.
Not a whole lot of details. So anyway, they're doing that. I think it only lasts 2 days. And I know they're doing it through tomorrow, but I'm not sure exactly what time they're ending. So tune your radios in for SSTV.
146.800.
145.800.
145.80, I guess.
And the other little piece of local news is, I'm sorry, am I bothering your ears, Joseph?
Yes.
Sorry.
Had it.
The other little piece of local news is that the Lehigh repeater is now connected to All-Star. And so the Bonita 285 and the Lehigh 345 repeaters are connected by All-Star. And also they have an Echo Link node number. The way it's set up is they've got them both connected to a common hub. So if somebody else wants to connect something to them, they go into that hub. Likewise, that hub has Echo Link. So if you've got the Echo Link phone app, you can get on it by using the phone app, and the hub is KR4PI, and I think it's /L or /R or -L or -R. I can't remember which. And also into FSU out in Lehigh.
Oh, Mike's linked up?
Connects his repeater and several others to which he is connected up. So right now there's 6 or 7 repeaters connected to it. And I don't think he's doing that on a permanent basis, but looking at the status page right now, it is connected up to Mike's hub and system. And I even had it connected to the East Florida hub as well for a while yesterday, but we were afraid it was going to get a little too busy, so I didn't keep that up.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's all up and running, and there are plans to link the Cape Coral repeater, the 225 machine, at some point, and then it's even in discussion to link possibly the 220 machine and something else, and that remains to be announced. But they're trying to get a bigger footprint in a common system that has a bigger footprint in Lee County.
What's the frequency again for the Lehigh?
The Lehigh one is 147.345.
345. Do you know the PL? I guess it's going to be the same as all
It's
yours.
136.5.
Most of them around here are 136.5.
Locally, always try that first.
Yeah.
And there is the one that's not. The 165 is a different PL, but that's because there's somebody in reach that has that.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, John, but the the ISS is in range. It just came in the range. If anybody's got their SSTV stuff up, I just pulled mine up. I can't do it. I don't have. I'm not. It's going to be about another minute or so in range here. We're only inside the green line by about 200-300 miles, but you'll be able to get it if you had it up right now.
Scramble.
I'm not hearing anything right now.
That's because you're bad at game. I'm gonna get it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just telling you. I'm watching it here. I don't know how accurate this is. As far
1, 4, 5, 8.
No, actually, this doesn't look like it's up there.
I'm gonna get it.
It may already be 2 past.
What? No.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't heard anything. I've got it on another radio here, and I haven't heard anything. Although I probably didn't have the volume real high. I got a couple pretty good picks today.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it on tonight and see if I can get one or two overnight.
Yeah, I left it on today while I was at work, and I'm going to leave it on overnight. Just remember to turn the volume down,
guys. If you've got a radio that you can just leave on tonight, this is real simple stuff. All you got to do is take a tablet or a computer or anything with a microphone, download the app if it's an Android, download the program if it's a computer, and you set it up and you just let the radio play. You don't need to hook the radio directly to the device. You can literally leave your radio on in the shack, right? Turn it down to static just to where you can hear it, lay your phone on top of it, put the app on. When you get up in the morning, you'll see pictures on there from the International Space Station.
Yeah, it's too far already.
Yeah, I think it's already out of range, Joseph. It's just it's just leaving the circle right now. Yeah, it's just leaving the circle. The next orbit is actually going to take it further away. So we probably will get another shot at like 4 or 5 in the morning.
I'm not getting up for that.
You can leave your stuff on.
I might.
Well, I mean, if you really want it, just let's go to a my SDR station in South America and pick it up off of that.
There you go.
That's what I do. I mean, you could go around and get. If I can't get it with my own crap, I'll get it with somebody else's crap.
There you go. Just follow it around the world.
There you go.
Just get every picture.
Yeah.
Start getting
Well,
the same picture
I
over
was
again.
actually I did that when they were doing it for that week or whatever. I was doing SDRs. I would find SDRs where I could pick it up, and I was getting some pretty clear pictures. And I kept ending up getting that same one cosmonaut over and over, or the astronaut over and over and over and over, the same one. I'm like, what are they sending the same picture over and over and over again?
That's probably right.
I mean, what was the one they sent now? It was like a picture of a bunch of people having a board meeting. I mean, can't they send something more interesting, like a picture of Earth or something?
You know, astronauts are really cool folks, but they're not always the most interesting people. Yeah, I don't know. We could go to like a web SDR. I don't know where else it would be.
I love those web SDRs. I used one last night to talk to a bunch of friends in Atlanta.
Oh, he's still doing that?
I couldn't hear them on my own receiver. They could hear me talking, but I set that up and I could hear them. So we went back and forth.
Oh yeah, speaking of web SDR, there's one more thing I wanted to mention about. I just found out like after we did the slide, but that SDR program, you can choose like a color palette for the waterfall, and one of the options built in is web SDR. So when you enable that setting, it turns the waterfall purple like web SDR, which is kind of funny because I've done that manually in SDR Sharp and SDR Console before, but this one actually has it built in, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. All right, I'm going to show you guys this. All right, I went to websdr.org.
Okay.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my SSTV program. And now I have to go to my sound card settings. This is always such a pain in the butt. You know what? I can't do it with this. I got to do it with this. What we need to do is I got to pull up Firefox. See, what I'll do is I'll use a different browser, and that way I can assign different sound properties to a different browser.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to bring up Firefox, put in that same address and pull it up again. But now I can pull up my sound settings, and I can go to down here where it says app volume and device preferences. I can click that. Now I can go to Mozilla and I can assign specific. I'm going to assign cable A, and that way it's sending to cable A. Then I can bring in this program, options, MMSS TV options. Go to my options screen, miscellaneous speakers. I'm going to set for A, cable A. Now, let me see here. Let's go back to here. Now we put in the frequency here, which is going to be 145/800. Now that brings up only the web SDRs that have that frequency available. Scroll down to the bottom. There's my map. My space station is going to be coming over right down here in just a few minutes. So I'm going to pull up this web SDR right here. There it is. There's my radio. There's my waterfall. I want to pull up this frequency. This is always the tricky part, is getting, they want it in kilohertz. So 145, 800 kilohertz.
Uh-oh. This seems like intermod overload. That's not good.
No, I'm going to have to go find another one. So if that happens, we just go back one step and we pick a different one.
I think that's
What the
the
hell's
same
going
one.
on down there?
You accidentally clicked on the same one.
I was
Could've
going to
swore
say
that
maybe
I-
Cuba's doing that.
That's the
Yeah.
same one again.
Well, I'm clicking on different
When you're
ones.
you might have to zoom in a little bit more. Those little markers are weird.
Let me click on this one.
There we go.
Yeah, that's a lot later. That's a lot better.
All right, so we can use our buttons here if we want to zoom in. Put that
How do
right
the
there.
web SDRs always have such clean waterfalls? Like there's no
You're on 145 600, not 145 800. There you go. That might work better.
Okay, there we go. Now it's going to be in range of this station here in just a few minutes. So let's
You got it on FM.
see here. FM. Okay, I've selected FM, and I think that's the right bandwidth.
Yeah,
16.55. Yeah, that should work.
that should be enough. 16 kilohertz. That's plenty.
And when you guys are here, this is all your different settings. You've got mute, squelch. You don't want to use any of that if you're out doing this. And then I'm going to see if I need to volume up a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So the volume is working. So now I can bring this over here. So now I got my waterfall over here and I got my SSTV over here. So we're cooking with gas. So now we can see if one comes in, if as the station gets closer, let's see if we can pick it up. If we pick it up, it will start coming up over here on the right. This is how easy this is, guys. You can literally do this at home without a radio and without being an amateur radio operator. Anybody can do this. So I thought this was really cool. So I got this set up. This should work. I think this will work, Joseph. Does it look like I got everything set
I think it'll
right?
work. Yeah, you got your audio piping. It'll work,
All right.
providing that this the station goes close enough for this.
I'm starting to see a
SDR to pick it up.
little artifact right there, but I don't know if that's we're still not quite there yet.
Hopefully, they have an antenna that's not like a Ringo Ranger or something.
Yeah, hopefully it's a sloppy antenna.
Sadly,
It's funny because if you hook it up to your long wire, it'll actually do a lot better than like a Ringo Ranger, because it's not a tight lobe. It's not looking down the horizon; it's looking everywhere.
I always wonder how these web SDRs have such clean. You can go all the way up and down the band, and they don't have little burrs or birdies, as they call them. If you hook up a hack RF or a RTL SDR, you got little spikes everywhere and stuff that aren't real signals.
Could it
But
be a
these-
contrast thing? I mean, can I turn the contrast up on this?
It might be. I don't know.
Oh no, not really.
Not really.
Oh,
I don't know what hardware they're using. I don't think it's a hack RF because it's more than 20. Well, I don't know what hardware they're using. I don't know if that's the thing either. Is it hardware? Because I know like hack RFs and RTL SDRs, they have that stuff. Even with no antenna connected, you'll still see little spikes everywhere. What hardware are they using? That's so good.
I don't know. That should be regular. And you guys can use these to adjust the speed of the waterfall. You can adjust the size of the waterfall. If you go larger, it just makes the amount of history you can see longer. The further back in time you can see. And of course, this radio has 2 meter and 6 meter capability, but we're using obviously 2 meter right now.
Gonna be green is almost to that location.
Yeah,
green
are you
circle.
watching that too? Yeah, I've got that
Yeah.
up on a different screen, so I can't show everybody that. It's up over here. I don't think you can quite see it on the camera, but
I can see it. Yeah. Well, you can't see the thing.
Yeah. The green line is almost to this web SDR. So we're going to see. Hopefully this will work. I want you guys to see this because I actually when they were doing this about a month or so ago, I did this like all day one day. I just kept chasing it around. It was pretty cool. And some web SDRs did really well. Others didn't. Like you said, I think a lot has to do with the antenna. You guys understand what I'm saying with the lobe, right? If you've got a really good antenna, a really good VHF antenna is going to send and receive all of the energy in an omnidirectional format, but it's going to send it all at the horizon.
Yeah, which is not what you
It wants everything to be sent out at the horizon, okay? And it receives from the horizon. There's no sense in receiving overhead. There's no antennas overhead. Well, except for the space station and satellites and things like that. That's why we need different kind of antennas for that. And so that's where we were saying, if you have an antenna that has a really, really good performance, like a Yagi that shoots in one direction, or a Ringo Ranger that has a real tight lobe along the horizon, they don't do as well. You have some crappy quarter wave on your car, it'll actually do pretty good. So and your bow thing, where you can hold the antenna on an angle where you get a really clear signal, actually works better than most fixed antennas I've used.
Yep.
So you can do this with a Baofeng and your phone. You download the app. What's that app called?
On the Android, it's called Robot 36, and on the iPhone, it's called SSTV.
You download that app. The Android one's free. The Apple one's $96. You download that. Well, maybe it's not quite that much, but you download that and you lay your phone. You hold your phone next to the speaker on the radio, and you'd be surprised how clear a picture you can get without a direct connection. Where is this thing?
Should be popping up right about now.
I mean, we're in it right now. That's why I think something might be wrong with this
Yeah,
radio.
you would think it would be, but
How
And he's not going to be over a station for a while now. This is the last one.
yeah.
Come on.
And you guys know you can just type in ISS orbit location map.
Something appeared just then.
Yeah, there are a couple of spots of something.
Oh, that's something. Somebody. It's probably the guy who runs this thing keying up.
Yeah. Yeah, or his neighbor messing with him.
Oh, well.
Come on, man. I can't believe this.
Yeah, that sucks, man. I'm wondering if I should try another radio real quick.
Yeah, there are 3 right in the same area. You might.
Let's see if I can get this other one. I did 38. Let me see if I can get 52 to come up.
Oh, I see where that is. That's a little.
I don't see anything at 144,800.
Hold on. The band, the waterfall is like skewed way over. It's not showing the frequency. There you go. Oh, is that it? That's it, isn't it?
Ooh.
No, it's too high.
950.
Man. Still nothing showing up
right
there.
Here.
It's about as close as it's gonna get to those receivers. It's not directly overhead, but
Well,
That's 144,800.
Yeah, it looks like you're on 144.8. You're on the wrong frequency.
no.
Oh, well, that would
Up
help.
to 145,800.
No, it didn't help that much.
You're on 145,800.50.
You're probably in the cone of silence right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And what he's talking about is when it's right overhead, what'll end up happening is again, your antenna is designed to work horizontally, not vertically. And so it'll actually, I get a clear picture until it gets over the top of me, and then it almost goes out, and then as it's going away, my picture will clear back up again.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks. Okay, well, such as that is.
Maybe the Russians went to sleep, decided not to transmit.
Yeah.
Well, and you know something, they do have a flaky schedule, because if they're out doing walks and stuff, they don't use the antennas.
Commie
So-
bastards, anyway.
Yeah.
There's something at
comes.
145, 500.
Yeah,
No,
something's
those
going
are
on
large.
over there. They're gonna be speaking a different language, probably.
What's that international SSTV frequency? Of course, it's on VHF.
Oh,
we're
that's
never gonna hear anything.
you're
on
not gonna
VHF.
hear anything
No,
on that.
I know.
You could monitor that for 5 years and you'd never hear anything.
Oh well, we tried.
Well, we tried.
Every once in a
just-
while, tuning up
well,
at
we
20
tried.
meters, I hear something on the 20-meter SS.
Oh yeah, 20 meters is the place to be for slow scan TV. If you're on in the morning, late morning, and early evening and afternoon is when 20 meters goes crazy with lots of SSTV.
Oh, it's kilohertz.
1 megahertz. It's cool. It has a little ISS marker.
Yeah,
there.
it's marked. I like that.
I really wish the guy who ran WebSDR would allow the software to be used privately. He doesn't let you use it with your hardware unless you make it public, which is a problem for something like a HackRF or RTLSDR because the bandwidth is limited.
Right.
You can only have one user at once.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys understand that with the SDR Sharp. When you go on and use somebody else's SDR Sharp through the IP thing there, that's a one user thing. You're
Most of
locking
the
system
time.
down. Yeah.
Sometimes you can have more people.
Now the web SDRs, surprisingly, I've seen these with like 100 people signed on. I was like surprised. You can scroll down and it shows you who all signed on. Actually, this one, it would be right here, but there's not that many people on this one. But I've seen them during like when there's events or things going on. I've seen them where there's like 60 or 70 different things listing where everybody's listening at that particular time. So these web SDRs actually listen to everything at once. Basically, it's amazing technology.
It's just it's a SDR with a wide bandwidth, and since most of them cover HF, you can get with something like a Lime SDR, you can get that's 60 megahertz of live bandwidth, or even one of those AirSpy devices can go up to about 60 megahertz. So that covers all the way from 0 to 60 megahertz, which means anyone, unlimited number of people can use it within that bandwidth, which is pretty cool. That's a lot of people on one radio.
Let's see.
Hey, that one has a.
What is it?
That's
14,
interesting.
14230.
That's the 20 meters. Yeah, if you go on there, if you use the university one, that one has a really good system.
This one?
Yeah. That one's got a really good setup and everything. They got some pictures of their stuff on there.
Oh. I hate that every one is a little different.
Yeah, well, I think that interface menu is always going to be the same.
It's different. It's the same, but it's different. See, look, this one right now has 277 users. There's all your users and where they're at on the spectrum right now. Yay!
Wow.
That many people using this radio right now. All right, so we're looking at 14,230. I was hoping to maybe pick up a picture coming in, but I don't see anything there.
Just give it a minute. Well, you'll see something because maybe not right this minute. I don't know.
And I wonder if we should try 40.
40 is left. 20 is like the most active. 40, I've only gotten like 2 pictures from that with like 2 days worth of listening, whereas on 20 meters I've gotten 30 pictures in 1 day. I just don't think anybody broadcasts on 40.
I don't see anything in there.
Let's pull up a little.
For those of you who guys that want to practice with your SSTV, there is an SSTV net on the AC4TM repeater on Thursday nights.
Yep.
I don't know what time, 7:30 or 8.
I think it's 8.
8.
8. It's not listed anywhere, but it's a good net. Great guys.
Getting a picture right now.
And they will help you. Is it coming in?
It was the tail end of one, but I went on the remote thing in Alabama and I heard it. You could share the screen.
Let me go to a different one. I have good luck with this one in Utah. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is.
The Utah one is pretty good.
Yeah, that's a great antenna out there. I just got to get the right one here. 20 meters. We'll use the green. Yeah, look at all that. Look at all that stuff going on. That looks too wide to be SSTV. But I'll stick it on there and see. No, it doesn't hear anything there.
There, I've got mine going. We'll see if I pick up anything.
I don't think these are SSTV.
No, those are single sideband talking.
That's another thing. SSTV is in. It's not normally digital is always upper sideband. SSTV is an exception to that. And that's another thing I just thought about. This needs to be in lower sideband, which it probably is because that would be the default.
Really? I don't think that's right.
If it's not, correct me because I'm new at this like everybody. You know what I'm saying? But
you set the lower sideband.
I think it's just in whatever the default upper or lower. I think it's just the default for the band.
It is. It's the default for the band, unlike all the other digital stuff, which is always upper.
So it would be upper sideband on 20 meters.
On 20, it would be upper. That's why I said it's probably already set for upper because that would be the default.
There I go. I'm getting, well, it's not decoding, but I see it on the waterfall. Another one. You not see anything on the Utah one?
Not on 230 or 233 now. There's some artifact in there, but I don't see.
Yeah, it's not. It's gotta be. What's that? Just like interference. It's gotta be somewhat strong too. You know, if it's like a really faint, like even right now, I see a trail, but I can definitely see there's a signal there, and I could probably hear it, but it has to be audible. Oh wait, you're getting one. That's part of a picture.
Oh yeah.
That's not just static. That's actually
there is a picture in there. You can
looks
hardly
like there's actually
see it.
a picture in there.
Look at
And
that.
you can see it on the waterfall a little bit. You can see the line
Yeah.
barely, very, very weak. But you are getting one. That's cool.
Yeah. See how this will turn green when it's actually receiving something that it thinks is something. You like my technical explanation?
Turns green when it sees something.
Hey man, if that crap is real stuff, it does things. So, for the record. I will tell you, it doesn't seem like a lot of people do the SSTV thing.
No, not compared to the other stuff.
Which is a shame because I think
mean,
it's really
even
cool.
it's pretty cool, but the other thing is that even hams, it's not that popular, like even known about among a lot of hams, it seems like. I
Well,
mean, it's
even
like
even our SSTV net here in town is like the only one that's not listed anywhere.
it should be listed. I don't know why it isn't.
Well, I'm going to
Should be.
start mentioning it on here more, right? Because it's not mentioned anywhere else. Oh,
It's a
oh,
good.
oh,
Oh,
oh, here
that's
we
a
go.
really good one.
I think we
That's a
got something.
strong signal there. Bingo.
K3OGG.
What's
Look
it
at
gonna
that.
be?
Nice and strong on the waterfall.
That is very strong.
Yeah, look at it over there on the right waterfall. It's like, whoa.
K4P and P.
See, let's use QRZ here and see where he's at. Q4 PMP, he's in.
And that's why I keep telling you guys, for those of you who are still on here, there's not that many of you left out there. But for those of you who are still on here, if you haven't done SSTV,
North Carolina.
you can do it in 5 minutes right now with equipment you already have.
That signal's coming from North Carolina. No, hold on.
Wow.
It's not. That's the guy he's responding to.
Oh.
K3OGG is the guy who's transmitting. Let's see where he's at.
Probably Pennsylvania.
There's a little artifact in there, but that's a really clear picture.
It's a very clear picture, though.
Oh wow, he's in South Carolina too. So both of these guys are in South Carolina. You're getting it.
And I'm picking them up in Utah.
Picking up in Utah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
And I'm not picking them up here at all.
Which is,
Yeah.
Oh, that is weird. See, that's really weird because my receiver in Alabama is like directly in the path that it would take to go from there to Utah, and yet it didn't hear it at all.
Yeah.
It must be skipping over.
That's
wow.
crazy.
That's
Well, I wonder if
crazy.
we'll
And
hear
it's
the
such a
reply.
good picture too. That's amazing.
Wonder why it didn't.
You gotta do a high accuracy resync. See, I've learned a little bit more about SSTV. It actually transmits this like vertical line that doesn't show up in the picture, but there's this like vertical line it transmits, and that's how it syncs.
Hmm.
You got to do the high accuracy resync.
Oh,
I
here
think.
comes
If it's
the reply.
Oh, he's using black and white 12.
Yep.
Wow, look at that.
See how quick it comes
N3NJ.
in?
And 3NJ SSTV.
He's in Pennsylvania. Wow.
That's a good mode if you just want to
Yeah,
like send.
now I
send a
am
few dirty
receiving
words
him.
or something.
Oh, me
Are
too.
you
I'm
getting
picking
that?
him up too. Very strong. I'm picking up something very strong. Why is my MMSS TV is not decoding it, even though it was what? Oh, you know what?
He's sending it over and over
He's
and over.
resending it.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know why my thing didn't automatically start decoding it. I had to go in and tell it manually to start decoding, and then it worked.
I think you just quit.
I'm gonna do it over here.
Oh, did I turn off my machine? That's cool. N3NJ SSTV.
I'm getting my FT8 rig brought up to speed here real quick so I can see if I can hear any of this from here.
Oh, Rick, I had a question for you.
Alright.
Do you do FT8 at all?
I haven't done any FT8. No, I haven't.
Do you use your Linux machine for any ham stuff?
Yes.
Like ham software, like I'm trying to think of one in particular. Do you do any SDR stuff on there?
I haven't lately. I want to get the. I've been a lot of times I've been using the N1MM logging software stuff to run Windows to do that. I've been trying to figure out how to get that to run under Wine, but I haven't been successful yet. Because once I do that, I'm gonna stay on Linux all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Because I found out
I get tired of please wait and not responding. That drives me crazy.
Yeah, you literally never see that stuff in Linux at all.
No.
There's no please wait or not responding. I found out that WSJTX actually has a native Linux version.
Yeah.
Already made, which is pretty cool.
Now
with this new SDR++, which will run on Linux, I won't have to use GQRX. And that solves a lot of problems I was having, because I would have to try and emulate. If you emulate SDR Sharp on Linux with Wine, USB devices do not work. At least I couldn't get them to work. So
yeah, you've got to map the COM ports to TTY USB something or other. And
see, I tried that. I tried messing with that. I couldn't get it to work.
Yeah.
That didn't work. And plus, you'd probably have to install Zadig into the Wine, I would think. I don't know how that would work.
Tell you the truth, what I wanted, I've got a Raspberry Pi 4, which I just loaded the W3 DJS package onto. That I'm going to try to use that.
That's cool. W3 DJS.
Yeah, W3 DJS, or is it N3? No, I think it's W3. It's something 3 DJS. It's a Linux. What it is a Raspberry Pi image, which is ham radio programs, and he's got everything loaded on there.
Oh wow!
You got JS8 call. You got everything's loaded on there, so you don't have to go hunting for anything. You got logging programs. You've got a couple of SDR programs. I've already played with that.
Wow. It's got everything
imaginable.
That's really cool. It has a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It has WSGTX, right? So it has Grid Tracker. Oh, that works too. That's good. I didn't know if Grid Tracker was going to work. JS8 call works on there too. Wow.
Yeah, you got JS8 call. You got WSJT. You got FL Digi.
Wow. And then for SDR, it's got Cubic, GQRX, SDR Angel. I'm not sure what all these different. So I guess they're just drivers. Yeah, it's got FL Digi. Wow.
It's got everything. It's got all loaded in there. You got to download the little thing, put it on an SD card, put it on your Pi.
That's really cool. But that's good to know too, that all those softwares will actually work on Linux.
Yeah.
And have native versions. And you can even do stuff with Wine where you can go into the Pulse Audio control panel and tell the Wine instance of whatever program you're running to use a certain audio device as the microphone.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting a picture.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
picture
we're
coming
getting
down
one
now.
here
I see
too.
it.
It just looks like green static, even though it's a strong.
No,
It's
it's
like
like,
some
I
kind
bet
of
you it's an
green thing.
eyeball.
It's what? What?
It's an eyeball.
Ew.
It's like a green eyeball. Weird.
And you know what? I'm getting that on my local machine as well, just almost as clear as Utah.
And I'm getting it here too, but it's just
I'm getting it
noise.
on my radio.
Yeah, I'm getting that almost as clear on my radio here as I am from there. That's pretty impressive.
What mode is it? It is Scotty 1. See, this is
Scott T1.
now it's working. I don't know what's wrong with my MSS TV. It keeps selecting the wrong mode. And the colors are all messed up. What is going on?
Well, if you're seeing a green and yellow
yeah.
eyeball, that's not the
You know
colors
what?
messed up. That's what it is.
I was off frequency a little bit.
All right, guys, I'm going to run and get some more Mountain Dew, and I'm going to be right back.
Okay.
I don't need to leave somebody in charge, do I?
No.
I'm in charge.
You and Alexander Haig.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm in control here.
Here we go.
N3NJ.
Great picture. Who sends that kind of picture? Just an eyeball.
It looked like the Grinch.
Thanks.
Looks like they got a little bit too close to an iguana or some monitor lizard.
Oh, you know what? That's probably some character from some movie or something.
Yeah.
Should transmit back and be like, thanks for the eyeball. We should transmit the TechNet just like one frame every
All right.
60 seconds.
There he is.
Yeah, one frame at a time.
Could do fast scan TV.
Yeah, fast TV on ham radio's changed a little bit too. They've been using the European something or other standard for that. Can't use the American standard because so much of it is proprietary.
Oh, I got another one.
Really? The American, hold on. The you can buy amateur TV video transmitters. They call them, well, they're FPV transmitters, but they're actually on amateur bands on 5.8 gigahertz.
Yeah.
You have to have a ham license to use those. You're supposed to have a ham license to use those.
Could be a nice feature. Maybe NTSC, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it is. I think it's 60 FPS though.
That is the old 480i standard.
Yeah.
What we used to watch before they turned all the analog TV transmitters off. Now, who is this scowling creature?
You know, when I was a kid, I'm such a geek. I used to like to stay up at night and watch the sign-offs.
Oh, I used to do that too. I used
Are
to
we
love
geeks or what, dude?
Yeah, the test patterns always used to crack me up. The one with the Indian head.
Yep. When I used to have my, I used to do a internet show called Saturday Night Paranormal. We did it for 4 years. The end of my show was the sign off for the network. The network we were on, the Paranormal TV network. We were the last show, so I signed off for the network. We were done for the night. We signed off, and the stream ended until the next day at noon or 2 o'clock or whenever the next shows would pick up again. And I have this ender. I'm gonna go find it right now. If I can find it, I'll play it for you guys. I made this cool ender. It ended the show. It was spooky pictures and words going by and all the different teams that help out on the show. And then at the very end, it plays the national anthem and it shows the rocket going up, and it's the exact ending that we used to see when I was a kid. You know, we're talking the 70s. And then at the very end, it goes and it goes to the static screen at the end,
Yeah.
the white noise. And then it zooms out and it's Carol Ann with her hands on the screen. And she turns around and looks and goes, "They're here." I love that scene from that movie, dude. That's so good. So that was like my little ender. I should see if I can find that real quick, because that would be fun to show you guys. Well, we did get another picture here of some royal Englishman or something. So I don't know what that's all about.
Scowling his life.
It looks like a Minuteman with breasts.
Yeah, it looks like that too. Maybe it's a Minute Woman.
That's the biggest Hooters I've seen on a guy in a while. Just say.
Perfect distortion.
Yeah, I think there's.
I'm sure that's all it is.
That's what it is. The picture got
horizontal distortion there. The old black and white TVs, you know, the horizontal thing could get out of kilter, and it would look like something like that. Oh, the fun on TV you never get to see now with the new ATSC stuff. All you get is everything's all perfectly clear.
Yep.
It's no fun.
What is that?
Ooh, someone transmitting off frequency?
It doesn't look like SSTV, but it doesn't look like SSB voice either.
No, you know what that might be? Is RTTY. It's kind of gone on too long for that though. What does it sound like? Can you hear it?
Oh, no,
That's
I don't
weird.
hear anything.
I don't know what that is. It almost looks like those things. I find these on the band sometimes. It looks like RTTY. It sounds like RTTY, but it goes on for 10 minutes at a time, and it's obviously not RTTY because the RTTY decoder doesn't decode it. But it's like two CW peaks right next to each other. I don't know what it is.
Maybe it's Cuba.
Cuba
jamming
it again. They don't want us getting our pictures. I don't know what that is. That's so weird. I don't see it here on mine.
It just went away.
And it's done. What?
I'm gonna turn this.
That's voice.
Waterfall up a little bit.
Weird.
I like a ginormous waterfall. All right, I'm looking for this video here. I did so many videos back then.
So that stuff is it on YouTube or something?
Yeah, a lot of it is. The
Wow.
actual full-length shows are not, but oh yeah, here it is. Son of a.
You can't say that on the radio.
That's why I didn't finish the sentence.
I mean, we're not on the radio.
You know what George Carlin says, all those 7 words.
Yeah, and we're down to 3. To be honest with you, I'm down to 3 that I can't use.
Yeah,
and the S, the F, and the C.
Yeah.
I mean, I called the president a douchebag the other day on the radio.
Yeah.
So how bad can it be?
Picture.
I can remember when you couldn't say fart on the radio.
Oh, crap was a bad word. You know what? When I started in radio, pissed and pissed off. What?
Yeah,
you
you
could not
couldn't say
that. You couldn't say douchebag. You couldn't say a bunch of these. Now it's okay. And I've only been in radio 10 years. This is not like a long time.
I think I've even heard dick on the air, you know.
My host calls people a dick. If he said head on the end, it would be a problem. But dick is a vernacular for jerk.
Yeah.
And that's why you get away with it. That's why if you add something on there that identifies it as a sexual organ,
yeah,
like head, for instance, that would be bad.
Yeah.
So it's like I tell people all the time, you can say ass and you can say hole, but you can't say it together.
Can't put them together.
Because an ass is a donkey and a hole's in the ground. But if you put them together.
Well, you can always do like Neil Bortz called it on the WSB in Atlanta. He'd talk about colorectal cavities.
There you go. Oh.
We're still live on YouTube, just so you know.
Yeah,
Are
I
we
guess
really?
we could probably stop.
We're liable to be censored by YouTube.
Oh, heck, we got another picture. I didn't even notice.
Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait just a second.
Hey, I know that guy.
Hey, wait a minute.
That looks like.
I know that pavilion, actually.
That sure looks like somebody I know.
Wait just a second here.
Isn't that the field day or something?
Yeah, that's field day. That's me on my scooter with my mobile scooter setup.
And I want to see if I got that over here.
I did. Oh, I wasn't monitoring over here. I was monitoring in Alabama. I didn't get it. I saw that. I couldn't see the face because of the little distortion there, but I thought that looked familiar.
Yeah, I did. I got it here locally too. Oh, I actually got it better here on my local one than I did on the Utah one.
Well,
Well, hey, with Skywave, you never know, dude. You know, with Skywave, I can't talk to somebody across town, but I can talk to somebody across the world. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skip zones. That is definitely strange.
Let's see here. I want to try to see if I can get this to where to play for you guys. I am going to go ahead and end the YouTube feed at this point. And
before we get censored by them.
Yeah, let me go back to this here. All right, we're going to go ahead and end the live stream on YouTube, everybody. Thank you for being here. And you can join us every Friday night. I went back to Saturday night, just that quick. Every Friday night right here on, I almost said Friday Night Paranormal. Oh, my Lord. I should have never thought of the other show I did on the internet. Okay, anyway, but this is the Southwest Florida TechNet, and thank you, everybody, for being here. And we'll be back next week. We don't know what we're doing yet, but when we find out, we'll let you know. Have a good one.